Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Hoop Spaces. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd of June. We have 10 o'clock on the dot, and we've got a lot of great basketball to get to. Definitely talking WNBA today and what was a historical performance by the Chicago Sky. Look forward to talking with all of you. We'll be back in a moment. You know what to do. There will be a show card. Please like and retweet so we can show everybody that we are here. We are also powered on YouTube by Audio Labs. Check us out. Just go to YouTube and search for the Hoop Spaces channel, and you'll see us being powered by Audio Labs, production and editing tools for dissemination on the YouTube platform. We'll be back momentarily. Thanks, everybody. Good morning. All right. Welcome, everybody. Different type of format, trying to time everything correctly. Want to thank you for coming in and listening, no matter where you are. We'll talk all of the WNBA action from last night. We've got Bradley Beal news, trade rumors galore, getting ready for the NBA draft. If you want to come on up, go ahead and request here on Twitter Spaces. We appreciate every time that you can, come in and chill out and talk some hoops. Papi Chulo from 77 Spaces in the building. Good to see you. JP, what's up? Steven, I see you. What is up, Joey Starr? It's good to see you as well. We'll give it about 30 seconds later and I'll get started. Appreciate it, everybody. Good morning. All right. It's going to be a slower day today, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the dog days of summer in the NBA with the Golden State Warriors finishing off the Boston Celtics last week to win another NBA championship for the Splash Brothers, Steve Kerr and the likes. But basketball doesn't stop. It's a 24/7, 365 sport across the world, and we just continue to talk great basketball here on Hoop Spaces. Today, got a lot of WNBA action to talk about. I can't wait for 808s and snack breaks to come on up here because, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't watch this last night, you wouldn't really believe it. The Chicago Sky staged the biggest comeback in WNBA history to beat arguably the top team in the league. Those are the Las Vegas Aces. We'll definitely get into that. Also in action last night, the Atlanta Dream and Dallas Wings, the Minnesota Lynx, the Phoenix Mercury, the Washington Mystics, and the Los Angeles Sparks. Plus, we have a whole bunch of NBA news and notes to get to and rumors. And I'm going to go ahead and start off with one of them. All of this, they didn't want to trade Westbrook talk. That is now out the window because it has been shown now that the Lakers profit a trade for Malcolm Brogdon in the Indiana Pacers for Russell Westbrook. So it's going to be interesting to see what will happen in the offseason because a lot of people are talking about him possibly being moved again. There's some Kyrie Irving news. There's some PJ Tucker news. But man, there is definitely some Bradley Beal news. The rumors are he's going to opt out to line himself up for either Supermax or move to another team. All right, if you want to come on up, go ahead and raise a hand. It's good to see a lot of you in here, and I see Origami Hoops is wanting to come up. We'll go ahead and say what's up to him before we get started with the WNBA. What's up, Origami? How you doing?
Hey, how's everybody doing today? I'm doing all right. Thanks for letting me up. Hopefully the show goes well.
Oh, appreciate it. Also up is SweetsCode. If those don't know, SweetsCode and us, we go back to Clubhouse. What's up, Sweets? How you doing?
I'm marvelous now. I can't complain. A pleasure to see you here and be here. Good morning, everybody.
It's good to see you. 808s will probably come up if he can, when he can, covering the sky, as well as doing a regular full time job and getting ready to develop and provide more content for the WNBA. Busy guy. But last night, 4 games played. The Atlanta Dream played the Dallas Wings, and the Atlanta Dream win 80-75. Behind Ryan Howard's play, 16 points on 5 for 19. But really, what it is she was able to push the pace, playing uh, game high 36 minutes. Also playing well for the Sky, you had Parker, Caldwell, McDonald. In fact, all starters except for Billings scored in double figures. And even though it was only a 5 point game, there really wasn't anything after the third quarter. Dallas really came out in the second half. They opened up a double-digit lead in that quarter alone. It just wasn't enough to overcome the lead that the Sky had put up in the first and second quarter. And the Dream, sorry, closed them out in the fourth quarter, 13-9. If you have anything on that, we'll get to there. The Phoenix Mercury needing a win at home at 6-10, lose and now fall to 6-11 to the Minnesota Lynx, 84-71. The Lynx win. And this is a maddening and frustrating loss for anybody who's a Mercury fan. Skylar Diggins-Smith, the only person who really came out to play. She had 25 points last night. Diana Taurasi threw up a whole bunch of shots. There you go. The Washington Mystics fall to the Los Angeles Sparks despite a furious fourth quarter run. I want to go ahead and shout out a couple players from the Washington Mystics who did a phenomenal job in the second half. Ariel Atkins had a great game last night, as well as Miesha Hines had a great game. 808s is getting ready to pop up here to get ready to talk Chicago Sky. And that's the game that we're going to finish up with last. The Chicago Sky, ladies and gentlemen, 104-95 over the Las Vegas Aces. And not going to lie, after the first quarter, I did not pay attention. I went ahead and did my regular, stuff with my son because the Las Vegas Aces dropped 41 points on them in the first quarter. I was just chuckling, and I just went about my day. I come out, to some tweets by 808s and some other people that I follow who are watching the Chicago Sky. And in the second half, ladies and gentlemen, they put a whopping 53 points. But more importantly, they locked down Las Vegas in that third quarter. Here to talk about that game, 808s and Snack Breaks. Good morning, 808s.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, everybody. Listen, I heard a lot of chatter over the last couple of weeks about the integrity of the Chicago Sky and whether this team has what it takes to repeat and be the first team in the W since the early 2000 Sparks to repeat championships. Listen, man, if you didn't already know, last night should show you. After a 41-18 first quarter, I was tweeting earlier in the game, the Sky were trying to play Vegas this game. You're not going to beat them playing their game. You beat them playing your game. They couldn't establish any paint presence until Azurá Stevens came into the game. Listen, man, I'm not a fan of UConn products, but listen, Azurá Stevens she's her. I think the Sky had 6 players, either 5 or 6 in double figures, and they all scored more than 17. Team, that's exactly what it was. Candace Parker being back, of course, but the fact that Dana Evans, I don't even think she played, that just says the integrity of this team. Rebecca Gardner, she came in and gave a spark on the wing immediately. Jackie was going insane in the first quarter. She came in, things a little bit different. At one point, Vegas was chasing Chicago. 28-point lead, deficit that is. Largest in WNBA history. After the game, Sluden and all of them was talking about, this was fun, but let's try not to make this a habit. Let's try not to be down 20 points so early in the game. The fact that Vegas went to their bench so early in the first quarter when they have literally the worst scoring bench in the league, That was not a sight to see in the first quarter. But this team, arguably, in my opinion, this is their most thorough game the entire season. At the first quarter. The fact that they came back and clawed back the way that they did, stayed true to themselves, just shows you this team is for real, man. And they've just got more games to win, more games to prove.
All right, yeah, I want to give the stats here. Every starter scored in double figures except for one, and I actually kind of surprised. I thought she was fouled. Kalea Cooper was fouled a couple more times and probably could have gotten some more free throws.
Chris, the fact that they didn't get their first free throw of the damn game until the 8-minute mark of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I thought they got like one in the second, but I was wrong when I went.
No, not at all. And the fact that Kalea Cooper is one of the most premier drivers in the lane in the W, the fact that she didn't get one single call. And I went back and watched the game this morning. I counted at least 12 different foul calls that weren't called last night. It was disgusting.
Yeah, it was pretty bad in the disparity category too, and I'll get to that in a minute. But every starter except for Kalea scored in double figures. She had 9, by the way. Candace Parker, 17. Quigley, 13. Messerman, 17. Vandersloot, 25. Also, phenomenal, ball movement. And we talk about fundamentals and all this stuff. Like, just throw that word out there and understand that what the Chicago Sky did specifically starting in the second quarter was the most picturesque ball movement you can have that wasn't from the San Antonio Spurs offense. Candace Parker, 4 assists, Messerman, 6, Quigley, 7, Vandersloot, 8, Copper, 3, Elamon, 6 off the bench for a total of 34. That free throw disparity was real. The Chicago Sky in all 4 quarters had 7 attempts. They went 6 for 7. The Las Vegas Aces had 19 attempts, and they went 16 for 19. Hamby, Wilson, Plum, and Young all in double figures. Young leading the way with 23, Kelsey Plum 22, Asia Wilson 16. Gray was if she had a better game, she was 0 for 6, 4 points coming from the line. If Chelsea Gray had a better game, maybe this doesn't happen. But that bench for Las Vegas is woeful. That is going to be an Achilles heel. I want to go ahead and get other people who might have watched the game either last night or this morning a chance to come up here as well. So raise that hand if you happen to catch the game. And if not, raise the hand so you can start asking 808 some questions so we can get smarter. All right. I know Dany D's up here. She's watched it. Origami, did you catch any of the W games last night?
Unfortunately, I did not. So I don't want to give any misinformation. So I apologize for that.
All right, no problem. Dany D, good morning. How you doing?
I am doing well this morning. Very good this morning. I have one complaint, just one, maybe two. I tried to watch that Dallas game and the Wings game. And you know what they told me? They told me on NBA TV, on my direct TV, that I was blacked out. I couldn't even watch it. I was so upset. So anyway, I watched the game last night and I was like, okay. They slugged them in the mouth that much. They slugged them hard in the mouth. And I'm glad. I'm disappointed in my Aces, but I'm also glad that they lost that game, because my only concern has always been that bench. Now, with all that being said, is one player that's not playing, and we don't know. I got to see when she's coming back, and that's Raquana Williams. That's where, if they keep the lineup the way they got, that's where the points are supposed to come from, is Raquana. And I think she got a foot injury or ankle injury. I can't remember right now. But if they get her back, then that's where your primary scoring is probably going to come off the bench. If they can make any changes with their bench, I hope they do. Because people got to score. Kia still got to score when she come out there. She good for rebounding and blocking, but she has to, what Bill tried to encourage her to do when he was there, score. You big enough, score. What like he said, Sky tried to play like the Aces. I know 808 wants everybody to think, oh, the Sky, this and this and that. They're a good team. They are a champion team, and they are the champions till somebody knocks them off. But at the same time, I'm still confident my Aces can still win. I can't wait to the Commissioner's Cup on their end, and that'll be round 3. They're both even Stevens at this point. If I'm a Sky fan, I'll still be concerned that they still have that hangover thing from winning the championship, like most people do they have like a hangover. Some people come back swinging and on beat, but the Sky have struggled immensely during the season for whatever reason on their end. But Azurá Stevens not going to have the game like she had last night. She's not always consistent, but hey, that was a wonderful win for the Skies. Wonderful.
Danny, I love you,
him a
but
clap.
we not finna do this sour grape shit. We not finna do
Oh,
this.
no,
You've been
not
talking
sour
so much
grapes.
shit for the past how many weeks, and we whooped y'all, and now
I
you up here
gave
talking
y'all
about
your
Azurá
flowers,
Stevens can't do
808.
that. Nah.
808. I'm not gonna get
Come on.
out of pocket. Why you so sour? I mean, y'all won.
I don't think
I
he's
gave y'all
sour. I think I
congratulations, even on Twitter last night.
Danny, your apology is not matching the disrespect.
It's not
she's giving that left hand backhand
She
compliment.
said
Like,
Azurá Stevens
disrespectful.
can't do this
They won
consistently.
one little game, and I'm glad that they did. Can they do it on a consistent basis? Because I know when we lose, we
The
always
Sky are
come back clutching.
7-1.
They
The
probably
Sky
gonna
are
lose their next best
7-1 since the
game.
last week of May.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. You know, when they want to play, you know,
It's the best record in the W.
the
they're
only
not number
team
one.
with a better record in the last 10 are the Las Vegas Aces, and the Las Vegas Aces have now lost to the Chicago Sky, who are 7-3 in their last 10. Also, Rakana Williams back around the end of June, beginning of July, out with a foot injury.
Right. So that's gonna be where our
Love
scoring
Carter,
comes
but
from.
she wasn't gonna say y'all last night. Come on.
Y'all
was still last with her healthy.
I mean, that's where all of our scoring is gonna come. I mean, I was shocked and appalled that y'all did not even show up in the first half. That's more concerning.
Or we could talk about the fact that we double teamed Asia and she forgot how to play basketball.
Well, Asia is the MVP, sir. I don't see any MVPs on your team right now.
Breanna Stewart, Coney Vandersloot.
Breanna Stewart ain't gonna win because she's not gonna win MVP. Because where the Storm is sitting, that's where they're sitting at. Okay, the Sue Bird is going to overshadow her, unfortunately, because her goodbye tour is going on. But y'all played great. I applaud y'all for how y'all played. Y'all show up, y'all took the punch, and y'all got off the mat. That's a wonderful team win, and I hope it builds up for them.
Let me ask you two a question.
Yeah.
Early season, or actually I should say almost mid-season, MVP run for the WNBA. I have Vandersloot, Asia Wilson, and maybe Lauren. Who's going to be third? Ionescu? Like Candace Parker? Like who? It seems like it's a two-person race right now, and I think Vandersloot is probably the sleeper candidate that everybody's just disrespecting.
Listen, man.
No,
12 points, 7 assists a game. Like, what else could you really want from the best point guard in the WNBA?
I mean, I'm sorry. It's Asia Wilson. She's a double machine, sir.
You know what? We should get a poll.
That double machine wasn't active in the fourth quarter last night. I got to pull the stats up there.
And she wasn't. And I'm glad to admit that.
Looking like Steph Curry.
Sir, calm down. Have a pie. Sit down and relax for a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. She is a double queen. She runs everything. Now they out there smacking her and hitting her, and the refs weren't calling it. But hey, I'm not gonna complain about that. That's okay. That is okay.
Yo, anybody that knows Dany over the last 3 weeks knows that this is a complete heel turn.
And
this is not
the
stuff.
Turn. I am being respectful to you and acknowledging the win. Can you take that? I'm just so shocked and appalled that I'm being attacked like this.
Is Jonquel Jones in the MVP discussion?
No, I'm sorry.
Why not?
Because John Cole Jones go an entire game with 8 shots, and you just forget that she's on the floor.
It's not. Yeah,
that's not it. That's not an MVP.
It's not. Well, it's not that. Not the Utah Jazz of the WNBA. No, sir.
Yo, we got.
Okay. No. Time out. Flag.
I'm mad that's catching on.
I know, and then like people are gonna like it's gonna. I did something like this before, and I'm telling you, it's gonna end up bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, yeah. No, it's not John Quill. It's going to be between Wilson and Stewart. Now, will Chicago's point guard get some votes? Probably will, but at this point, it better be. It should be Asia Wilson. I mean, other than that, I mean, Breanna Stewart is Breanna Stewart. She's consistent on a team that's. I mean, they all right. They're the Phoenix Suns of the 1990s over there in Seattle. I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay, so Breanna Stewart, Asia Vandersloot, that and others.
I mean, you could put old girl in Atlanta in there.
Ryan
Howard. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, you want a quick stat?
Yeah, I want to stat.
She could be because they won that game because of her.
Guess who went 2 for 7 in the second half last night, scoring 6 points, and a negative 20.
Would that be Kelsey Plum?
No, it's actually Asia Wilson.
Yeah, okay, and she's liable to have a bad game. I mean, so your teams have had bad games.
Listen, Danny, I've been saying all season that front court trio of Candace Parker, Emma Meeson, and Azurá Stevens will lock down anybody's team. And I've been saying it all season. When they win or they lose.
Okay.
All right,
and look what happened.
The polls up. Your WNBA MVP at this point, and I want to give a big apology to Mr. Anthony and the Bad Takers. I just can't, in good conscience, put a New York Liberty player up there because you have a losing record.
Yeah, your record sucks. Well, I mean, Mr. 808, sir, I understand. I'm glad that they had a great game. We had a horrible second half. We didn't match the intensity. I believe they thought that they had the game. And this is what the regular season is about, sir. It's about building up continuity, correcting the mistakes. It's a marathon, sir, not a race.
All I know is surrendering the biggest lead in WNBA history on the anniversary of the league. Ooh, that's a bad look.
Let me ask it this way. Let me ask you, Danny. Danny, let me ask you this. If the Los Angeles Lakers had given up a 28-point lead to, let's say, give me an old team. Let's just say Utah.
Okay.
If they gave up a 28-point lead to Utah, like everybody would be jumping on the Lakers. Why can't you accept the fact that like this was just a real bad loss?
It is. It's a bad loss. But again,
it's still bad loss.
But again, Chris, and to what you just said, they are playing the Chicago Sky, who are the reigning WNBA champs. And as the reigning WNBA champs, you would hope that this team will come out with the intensity that they came out in the second half. They didn't look like that in the first half. They looked like that they look like the New York Liberty last night in the first half. And I guess he had to remind them that they were the defending champs and they came out like that. And they showed the Aces that, yeah, we are the number one team in the league, but we still have to respect them as the champs. And that's what they did. And they gave us a lesson, and that's a good lesson for us to learn. It's always good to have that one bad game to sit in the pit of your stomach to give you that fire that you need. And that's all.
I want to welcome everybody here.
That's called a pivot for everybody that wants to know. Alternative facts.
We've got a couple people who've popped up. 4 actually. We have YC, we have JP, we have Pickup Card Game, and we have Mr. Anthony and the Bad Takers. We're gonna go to JP first. He actually opened up. He wanted to add something in here, so we'll give it him. We'll get YC, and then we're going to introduce the pickup card game with Mr. Tony and the Bad Takers.
I just needed to grow up because using the Utah Jazz for a 28-point comeback is very appropriate considering it was like a few days away from the anniversary of the Terrence Mann game, so last year. So it's very, very appropriate. And knowing that, that game started the whole tailspin of Utah into where it is right now, it's really good. 808, I have a question. When is Julie coming back?
You said when is who coming back?
When is Julie coming back?
Julie Alleman?
Yeah.
She played last night.
She played last night. I'm sorry. That's why I don't have the league pass, and it's kind of hard to get coverage across the ocean. So I rely on you guys to do the WNBA work. So
yeah, man. She had 6 assists off the bench last night.
Yeah. I would think that she's the one that will be taking all the Data Evans minutes. Not when they added her to the team. So and it's pretty cool that Hoop Spaces is delving into the W, because as you know, there isn't exactly enough spaces or opportunities for discussion about the league on the network. So just want to give Chris his natural pat on the back.
Appreciate it, JP. Next up, we'll go YC. YC, you got anything you want to add in to either the greatest comeback in the history of the WNBA, your mid-season MVP? Who do you want to see in the All-Star game, and who's right today? Is 808's right, or is Dany D right? You know what? That's the second poll. I'm gonna get that up there as well. Go ahead, YC, and then we're gonna introduce Mr. Anthony in the pickup card game.
First of all, shout out to the hosts, shout out to the speakers and the listeners in here. Always a pleasure coming in here talking WNBA. I'm going to push the nastiest agenda on the planet, and that's Nneka Ogwumike. I think that she deserves to be the WNBA MVP. The reason I feel like she deserves that is because she reminds me so much of what, if there was a WNBA Kawhi Leonard, it would be her. Did you see what happened last night? Did you watch the game last night when she made the comeback on my Mystics team? Like, it was crazy. Like, I think that was one of the better games that I have seen from her. I think she had 21 points and 3 steals. I think she had 6 rebounds too. If I'm wrong, 808s, you can always come off mute and tell me I'm wrong. They were able to force 17 turnovers last night, 11 of them coming from steals. And Nneka she's always playing that scrappy defense. I know everybody's all about the Steph Currys of the leagues and they want to see points. I love defense. And what that girl does, I want her to be the WNBA MVP. I want her to be voted in for the All-Star game. I want her to just continue to thrive and be as great as she is. Listen, when she came into the league in 2012, my coaching career for AAU had started to take a turn for the better. I started to win championships and things of that nature. And one thing I would tell my girls, I would say, hey, you got to look at them Ogwumike sisters. Like, they really want to play defense. You have to want to play defense. You don't see too many people out there that actually take pride in wanting to guard the best player, to guard the player that's hot, to guard the player that just single-handedly went on a 7-0 run, and now you have to stop that run while they're feeling good. Like, it's amazing. I get what everybody else is talking about, but please put some respect on the female claw. That is Nneka Ogwumike. That is all I have to say about that. To be brutally honest about this, I love what's going on with the WNBA. I love that there's so much traction under there. I told you guys I think I told you last week, I was saying that we do have good basketball still being played with the WNBA, with the NBA 2K League, with the Drew League. If you are a basketball aficionado like myself, there are so many leagues right now that you can continuously watch. I know the Drew Leagues are on Sundays. I know you can tune into your favorite broadcast and see a WNBA game. And with the NBA 2K League, I know you can go to twitch.com and watch them streaming. It's still good basketball. And guess what? Once these seasons start to kind of dwindle down into their postseasons and stuff, then we'll have Vegas basketball summer league. So it's always basketball in here. It's always basketball over here at YCDC College, but I like to call it. Appreciate you having me up here. But yeah, I'm pushing nasty agendas from now on, Hoops. 808 knows this. I'm pushing nasty agendas for the rest of this season, and that is get that girl Naneka a MVP. She needs an MVP ASAP.
All right, hey, I'm here for the propaganda. Like that's what we want. We want
Also,
fans of propaganda.
we always pushing propaganda. Shanae had 4 offensive rebounds. Last night on the key to LA had 18 second chance points, man. Like, when they figure this out, man, once they cut the dead end and the cancer that we all know what is on this team right now, like, they really, really don't need to blow it up. I heard somebody said the other day, like, well, I don't know why they need to blow it up. This team is fine the way it is. Just, cut the bad ends and you're good.
All right.
How
the
did
dead
Rui
end?
Machida
That's the
do?
question.
I knew that was gonna happen.
The person
Wait,
that
how did Rui do?
All right, we had 2 questions. Who's the dead end? And John was asking a question. What was your question, John?
How's Rui doing?
Gosh, I can't.
Machida.
Can you hear
Yeah,
him? I
Machida.
cannot hear him for whatever reason.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
I was talking about Rui Machida
Rui
from
Machida.
the Mystics.
Let me. I
He's
closed
the
that.
point guard.
Yeah, no, I closed the tab already by accident.
Not asking 808s.
808, you there?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
How's Rui Machida doing?
Honestly, like, I've watched a couple Mrs. games this season, and I don't know, her hand-eye coordination and the way she sees plays develop before they're even there. Like, she's one of the most underrated passers in the W. Like, she's really good, man. Then again, I still think the Mystics deserve the Utah Jazz of the WNBA title as well. Like, I've been saying it all season. I don't know when EDD is playing. I don't know when she has scheduled rest. So, like, I can't really put my eggs in the basket with that team.
Yeah,
I agree.
They're going to be a up and down 500 team. Machida got 7 minutes last night. There you go. 7 minutes.
I mean, I know a big they got right now. I mean, I know Shakira Austin is great, but I mean, I might have 17 last night. So
yeah, they don't remind me of the Utah Jazz, but they remind me of when now that I just blanked. They lost their player for like 20. Chris Middleton. It reminded me of the Bucks. Like they if you lose your main key piece, like in Giannis, like you can float around for a while. Oh, geez, that's nice. That's awesome. And you get it back, and they're going to be able to dominate almost anybody on any given night. But like, they're too singular individual person focused, I think. That's the Mystics. And shout out to you, Dany D, because I can't catch any Fever games because they're all blacked out too. I hope that the WNBA works on that because it's pretty annoying, to be honest.
Chris, I can tell you one thing. You're not missing much from the first game of the season where Dusty Henderson isn't really playing any meaningful minutes because, Carlos Knox isn't any better than the previous coach.
I'm still trying. I'm still trying to figure out what team I'm going to be rooting for, but like this idea of protracted non-playing of rookies, it kind of boggles my mind. Like it really does. It frustrates me. This isn't a W thing. This is a basketball thing. Like if you're gonna rebuild and you're gonna build in your team, the idea of young, fresh, eyes and legs and minds, then you got to play these rookies. Like if you draft 9 rookies, you have to go in knowing like you're gonna play every rookie you keep, right? Like it's annoying. Pickup card game, you're gonna have to exit out and come back in. It's not letting you come back up. We'll go to Mr. Anthony and the Bad Takers of Seafoam Season, ladies and gentlemen. He is a Liberty fan, and to that we salute him because it's hard out here on these streets. Tony, what's up, man? Good morning.
Come on, Chris.
Yeah. You know, we had a great debut yesterday, right? With the draft show. It's up on YouTube, and like I wanted to do the same for the WNBA and have a good, show here. And like we're just mired in mediocrity. We need to, pull ourselves out. So what I would like everybody to do is put down the cheesecake. Because like that's what I think is weighing the show down. It's all this cheesecake y'all was eating after yesterday. Put down the mid and pick up a good green smoothie. Okay, and let's get some refreshment here. Let's be healthy, and stop with the cheesecake mid here. Tony, you back with us? Nope.
As far as the Indiana thing, they've got too many talented players to just be misusing them. Melissa Smith, Victoria Vivians, Queen, Emily Angsler, like that team should not be 5-13. I mean, I don't think they'd be a 500 team, but 5-13, they shouldn't have 13 losses.
Yeah.
Are they tanking already?
Are they what?
Are they tanking?
No.
Are
Like
they
they don't have.
is
They just
Carly the competitive
they're not
tanking?
tanking. They're just bad. No, they're just bad. They're not tanking at all. Like if they were to tank, they would have kept every rookie and left it at that. They're definitely not tanking. They lost their coach. They have a new coach in who's not likely to be the coach long term. They have 6 rookies. The 2 of the vets aren't even playing. One isn't even practicing. It's a mess here in Indianapolis. Pickup card game is up here as we wait for Mr. Anthony and the Bad Takers to possibly come back. We can tell you that the pickup card game can be found at slamgoods.com. That's where you can go pick up your copy. And we can also tell you that pickup card game and everybody over at GameFlow, that's the handle you should follow. We're grateful for you to be able to power us through the NBA Finals, sponsoring Hoop Spaces here by giving away a first edition copy worth $25 that you can again pick up at slamgoods.com. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, 808s. Good morning, Danny. Everyone here. Chris, I'm going to be very short today because I think the level of I'm just going to ask you a question right here, Chris. How many times has the WNBA named Player of the Week so far this season? How many times, Chris?
Twice?
No, 4 times, Chris. 4 times. 4 times. And how many times has A'ja Wilson won Player of the Week, Chris? Go ahead.
Let me guess, 4.
No, 3 times. She lost 1 time to a teammate, Kelsey Plum. So she's won 3 of the 4 Player of the Weeks. How is there a conversation as to who the MVP is this season if she's won 3 or 4 Player of the Weeks?
How's there a conversation? Because conversation has to exist, and the easiest conversation is to create a line of demarcation to have an objective cognitive discussion on what actually creates an MVP.
And if you're the best player each week for 3 or 4 weeks, aren't you MVP by definition?
No, because
I mean the season isn't even halfway over. I think that's
You're preaching just saying, to the choir, brother. Hallelujah.
If we're going based on
keep eating them grapes,
performance,
Danny.
If a woman has won 3 or 4 Player of the Week, she is a clear contender to win MVP. Until she starts going downhill, if she might have two bad weeks, it's still fine. She's won 3 or 4 Player of the Week. So I think this discussion to me is, I get it, Chris, but it's clearly A'ja Wilson who is the clear of MVP. They lost last night. Teams lose all the time. I think in terms of them blowing the league, in terms of them having to improve their defense and not get too complacent, those are all things which have to be fixed. But I think we can't overreact to one game. And 808 is right. The defending champion should be respected, point blank, period. And so should A'ja Wilson as the clear-cut MVP this season. That's all, Chris.
I totally agree with that. Everything he just said. Yes. I second that.
So my question, and like this is why I asked about Jonquel Jones, right? So my question is, if she is averaging the same and the records are nearly the same, but A'ja Wilson wins more because she gets more publicity, why couldn't we have this conversation if the Connecticut Sun end up having a better record than the Las Vegas Aces. Like, I just want to make sure that we're just not de factoing here, right? I get that she's in the driver's seat for the MVP, but like there are other players that are going to be able to stake their claim. Like if the New York Liberty happen to become playoff, eligible and make a run, like how can Sabrina not be considered an MVP candidate?
MVP candidate for sure. Say she's a first team contender, right? That's fair. Okay, first team contender. But the MVP at this point, there's no discussion as to who has been the best player in the league. I think maybe in the past years you can make a discussion, but I think right now we have to call it where it is, right? And even a bad game for her last night, she had 16 and 10 and 2 blocks and didn't shoot that great. That's a bad game for A'ja Wilson. That's a great game for everyone else, right? So,
I don't think it's necessarily about the good game, bad game. It's about the fact that she went ghost when her team needed her most, like Avatar.
Yeah, I think that's a
She
wild
didn't
thing
go
to say that
ghost
there's
per
no
se.
discussion, though.
J-
Like, that's
Yeah,
kind of
no
crazy.
discussion is a little
Again, I
crazy.
want to say Jonquel Jones had a horrible game against the Mystics on Sunday and finished with 15 points and 16 boards.
Chris, I think you're barking up the wrong tree, though, for Connecticut.
Well, I know it's Connecticut. I'm just trying
No,
to.
but I mean, I think that you can make a better case for Brianna Jones than you can for Jonquel to be MVP if we're trying to talk about Connecticut right now.
All right,
Like she's number one in win shares in the league. And definitely number one in offensive win shares. I mean, she's absolutely blowing it out of the books there. And then when you go into player efficiency, she's sitting at 7th or 4th, which is the only players in front of her are Nneka, A'ja, and Breanna Stewart. And when we talk about A'ja Wilson being a clear-cut MVP candidate favorite, I don't know, I'm not disagreeing with you, but to just say that without talking about Breanna Stewart, who right now is number 1 in defensive win shares and number 5 in offensive win shares, number 2 in total, and first in player efficiency rating, like someone who has consistently come out every single night and done things on the basketball court that's led their team to victories, like to not include her name as part of this battle is a little nuts to me. But if we're talking about Connecticut, Brianna Jones, I think, is the player that you should be mentioning, not Jonquel. I don't think she's really in the running this year. It's a 3-lady race between Brianna, A'ja, and Nneka. I don't think it goes any further than that. You can't really make a case for Sabrina because she doesn't do the things on the defensive end of the ball that those 3 players are doing, and then also executing, really elite offense as well.
Just want to say Breanna Stewart's in the poll, ladies and gentlemen. So please don't think we left her out.
A 28.4 player efficiency rating is on pace for one of the best PERs in WNBA history.
I just want to share that there's an article about Jonquel Jones on the Jumbotron right now. It was just released today, so make sure to check it out.
My question to the Aces fans and to A'ja Wilson fans, and again, I'm saying this knowing she's in the driver's seat. How much will Kelsey Plum come into play, taking votes away from her? Right. That's the biggest question I have, and I think even if it's a small amount, that small amount is more than likely to be a greater weight towards that number 2 player, right? That's kind of how I feel this is going to happen, because we even talked about it here before we even really moved over, because the NBA's over and we switched over to WNBA primarily. We talked about it here that Kelsey Plum was getting a lot of publicity and a lot of media run, and there were other players that weren't. If this continues, how can we not assume that she's not going to take votes away?
Because of her defense. She's not a great defensive player. She's almost how can I put her? I'll put in context of how people play Kyrie and Steph in the beginning. Especially Steph in the beginning. You could switch out on her, get her in the paint. You saw that last night. They got a good switch on her and they just ate her up in the paint on there. That's what hurts her. And another thing that hurts her too is what Bill used to when Bill used to yank her ass for doing something stupid, like dribbling through two people and not getting the foul or causing a turnover. That's what would hurt her. And I can be honest about that with her. That's the difference between her and Asia.
Like in the first half, she was fighting over every single screen, which is really disrupting the offense at first for the Sky because, I mean, half of their offense comes from the paint. Like, it's looking synergy. But as far as the second half, it was the complete opposite. I mean, Courtney was eating her alive in the pick and roll, and she was food. She wasn't fighting over any screens, and, I mean, the paint was just the open party.
I'm going to tell you right now, Chicago's defense has been really crazy to me. I don't know about y'all. I didn't expect Chicago to lock up the Aces like that, and Emma is an absolute fucking animal. I mean, she's just doing incredible things out there on defense. But here's my nasty agenda. You ready for my nasty agenda?
You got a nasty agenda? We are ready for it.
All right, yes. Sabrina Ionescu, y'all talking about MVP. I hear that. Let me tell y'all about Hanju real quick. Okay? Absolute fucking demon out there. We're talking about 5th right now. 5th in the WNBA in player efficiency rating, a 24.4. She is killing it. One of the best, like, it's not even mid-season right now, but one of the best season acquisitions that the Liberty have ever found. I don't even know what she's shooting from the field. I think 56%, 58%, 57% right now from the field on 7 attempts. Late season acquisition, man. Or like just thrown into the bunch and making it work. Love this player. Big fan. Nasty agenda MVP.
I mean, she's making somebody look expendable. I mean, you know.
Will she be an all-star?
This year? I doubt it. If she stays, maybe.
I think she has the chance because I think that perhaps she gets Yao Ming'd.
You think so?
I
don't even think you can give me 5 people who can name Honshu like that.
Well, yeah, and the votes the preliminary votes came in, and she wasn't even. Yeah, I don't think so, Chris.
Preliminary voting is did they open up voting in China?
I don't know. Is China going to pull a Golden State Warriors and create a bunch of fake accounts to vote for Andrew Wiggins as a starter?
Oh man,
lies you tell. Okay, lies. Don't hate.
Speak on it.
Ain't no way the population of Golden State got Andrew Wiggins as a starter. You telling me that the capital of tech? I know you. I believe it. I believe all the fans did.
He's from Canada. Hello, Canada people vote for Canada people.
Canada.
Hey, yo, Chris,
in this country.
What's up, 808?
Look, you see Danny's Abby?
Yeah, I do. I see.
Just know that's the only championship she's winning this season.
Oh wow!
The Devil's a liar. I've won more this year. South Carolina won this year. Hello, Playboy. When the Rams won, I won because Matthew Stafford used to cook for my Detroit Lions. So we won. Okay.
Whoa!
Detroit
never cooked. Let's be honest.
No, we never could.
Detroit never could.
Stafford, 6 degrees of separation, Chris.
There
6 degrees of separation.
He left y'all and he made a commercial.
No, and we're fine about that, and we love him for that, and we knew he had to move on. No problem. No, we love him. That's why I was happy for Stafford, and because he won in LA, I was happy because I was cheering for my brother.
Wait, why are you a Lions fan again?
I am a Lions fan. I've always been. I'm from Detroit. I'm always.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you are from Detroit. That's why we don't get along.
Right. But boy, sit there in your corner. Anyway, okay, sit there in your dunce cap. All right, count your bean minutes. Anyway, sir, like I said, I'm winning. I'm gonna win, and we're gonna win this year. Wow, y'all old. Y'all realize your team is
right
old.
now you're losing in the poll on who's right. 808s or Dany D.
I don't care about polls.
The poll is up there. 808s is.
Hold on.
Danny's right though. I'm just putting that out there. They are old.
So go ahead and vote. Who wins? This is really more of the Chicago Sky versus Aces talk that you might have missed if you're just tuning in. And if you are just tuning in, I want to say thank you. A lot of you come in every day to listen to us talk, hoops, and we talk NBA. Hey, shocker! The NBA season is over, but basketball still continues. And if you have come into the show regularly, you've known that since the WNBA did start their season, we slowly incorporated it into this show's makeup, just because like we're here to talk hoops and like they're playing, and that's just kind of like what we do. And what's really cool about it is like growth. And I just want to give a big shout out to K. Lou, who they did this change a while ago and pivoted to WNBA, and they've created a great podcast. So if you want to listen to it, shoot K. Lou a follow here and check out the 9450 Women's Basketball Podcast. Also, down below, Darling Nikki, Sage Monroe, our girl Reese Rebel. She's got those New Orleans Saints things. Like, I just don't do football any longer. What's up, Pretty Can? Jordan.
She's a Saints fan? Wait, what?
It's weird, right? Like you would
Okay.
think, but like
I don't even care. Honestly, football's trash.
yeah. Well, it is.
Football is not trash. I'm sorry.
Like, okay.
You're from New York. It's trash.
It's not.
I love the game. It's about the game, the art of the game. I love the game of football.
I Eli Manning, right?
I snore. It comes on.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm a New York fan. We have a few Super Bowls. Don't. Let's not go
every day.
When the last time Chicago?
Every day I come on in here, 808s is always just so down and depressed about anything I have to support. I don't understand 808s.
As long as you know, sweetie. As long as you know.
Oh my God. I make him this unhappy, Chris. This is crazy.
You can't be preying on downfalls at 10 a.m., bro.
Well, look, all I is I treat everybody equally, and I want everybody to succeed until like you don't, and it's hubris and it's funny. I'm all for the laughs here, and as someone who picks up a Saints fan, I have to think that you are similar to me, that you are all here for the laughs because like it's the Saints.
Wait. What's wrong with my Saints? Hold on.
The Aints?
No, whoa. 808.
Like I guess it's because like I grew up watching three teams that had fans with paper bags over their heads, and it was the Saints, the Falcons, and the Browns. And like I'm 40 almost, and I'm telling you, for more than half of my life, they've had paper bags on their heads. Like that's why I chuckled at the Lions comment, because like my grandmother was a Lions fan, and they ain't cooked since the 60s.
Chris, really quick, before we continue, can you guess who's had the most top 10 PERs in a single PER rating in a single season for the WNBA?
Ever? Or
yeah, ever.
Sylvia Fowles?
Lisa Lep?
I would have never guessed. Lauren Jackson had the league in a headlock.
Wow.
Lauren Jackson
yes.
had an absolute
She did.
headlock.
She was a beast.
More Lauren Jackson news. The 41-year-old is hopping back to the Australian national team as they're expected to medal. She really wants that medal because I think that's one of the only things she doesn't have, which is crazy if you think about that. If you want to hop up, go ahead, raise your hand. Come on up here. Talk some women's hoops. We'll be switching over to the regular NBA in about 10 minutes or so because we got some Bradley Beal news. And we also have some news and notes that we want to get into. 808s, go ahead, man. What you got?
I think somebody asked who's the cancer on the Sparks, and obviously Liz Cambage. I mean, come on.
Right, probably like the whole team right now needs to just go to other places.
Like it's just so weird when you've got Shanae and Mecca on the floor, and it's like you've got Liz on the floor too. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Oh, well, I mean, when you pay the money, you know, you kind of want to get the production.
Also, Chris, this is why I don't gamble. I was looking at the line for that game last night, the Mystics and the Spark game, and Vegas had the Mystics favored by 2.5 points. So they were saying that they would have won by 2.5 points. I'm like, you know what? I'll take that line. That's not too bad. And lo and behold, right, of all things, EDD's not playing because of rest. So 808, you're right. She does miss too many games. It's unpredictable. And of course, the Sparks come back and win that game. I'm like, thank God I did not gamble. I did not waste money on that. So just a quick PSA right there.
Speaking of gambling, shout out to all the people that put that money down on the sky. Like I said, you made your nice little pretty penny. Just remember that I told you.
Don't start. You know, like Alex did this, man, and I said that then, like, bro, be careful. Be careful. You're gonna get that one that doesn't work, man. You know
Have
that.
some hubris. Have some hubris, sir.
Oh well.
Listen, Dany, you ain't been doing that for the last 3 weeks, so I ain't got none of it.
I don't have to.
Cause I'm the champion.
Everybody, say congratulations to Sage Monroe. She has picked her squad just like that. She has chosen the Connecticut Sun as her team. Love for her to come up here and tell us why. That would be an interesting conversation.
I know why, but Allah tell us why.
Oh,
is this the stage with three NBA teams?
Connecticut?
No,
talking about
Sage. You have like
no
NBA teams.
She's a Mavs fan
and a Clippers fan and a Warriors fan,
and her cousin plays for the team. That's why.
There you go.
So, yeah.
You're gonna catch it 808s, man. Like you got Dany D at you, Nat at you, then Sage is gonna come up and come at you, and we ain't gonna save you, bro. Like you up here on your own. Pick up Carly. Anything you want to add in about the W before we move on?
No, I mean I enjoyed the games last night. I think even that Dallas ATL game was fun to watch. So, like people keep saying, man, like there's tons of good basketball being played. There's not NBA basketball, so definitely tap in, and you can always. Don't feel bad if you don't know who players are. Just watch the game and enjoy the game.
Is Ryan Howard slowing down?
I mean, she's slowing. She's still winning games. I mean, she's slowing down a little bit. I think the league is figuring her out a little bit as well. But it's a rookie journey, right? She starts off strong. Maybe Alexa kind of getting a bit weak, but she's fine. I like how she's playing. Aggressive still.
If I can touch on that real quick, I think Ryan Howard is slowing down. And it's not because of Ryan Howard. It's because Tanisha Wright needs to learn to take the training wheels off. Like in the Sky game, she picked up 3 quick fouls. Honestly, 2 of them were questionable. But she pulled her, and she didn't play again until almost the midway to third quarter. Like, she's a rookie. You got to play her, man. I know it's 3 fouls. I get it. But, like, come on, man. Like, that was a really bad time. And, like, she brought the team back. It took them to overtime.
Fouls are weird. Like I knew a coach who, if you got your first foul and within 3 minutes of the first quarter, he took you out. Like I've known coaches who've let their players stay in with 3 fouls and they pick up a 4th. It's absolutely 50-50 to nothing. And if you don't know the meaning of that saying, like you'll have to look it up. If you're down below and you haven't come up here because you can't and you want to interact, there's a chat box. I probably should have said that earlier. You can actually add your thoughts to the discussion. We can add it up here to the Jumbotron. If you have anything that you want to share in terms of content, let us know. We'll try to share it. Want to give shouts out to some more people. I see JFK popping in, AR, Logan the Foot. We've got the 2-minute warning, aka Half Court Heat, Big Al, and a couple others. Thanks for popping in. Up next, we're going to talk some NBA because there's some more news coming out, especially out of Charlotte. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. What's up, man? How you doing today? 808.
Oh, man. What's today? Wednesday?
Oh, geez. Bro, like, I'm 40. How are you having trouble with, like, what day it is?
Listen, man, it's the summer. Honestly, the way things have been going, I'm just looking forward to Friday. Like, it's not good. We as people should not start a week and then jump immediately. Oh man, I can't wait till Friday. It's Tuesday, brother. You got some ways to go. But another day, another dollar.
Like 36 hours away from Friday, man. Maybe you need to take a nap. Naps are good, is what I was told.
You see, I don't sleep. It's like the last 3-4 days. No. But maybe like 5-6 hours, maybe. But like that's about it.
Bro, I'm telling you now, your body will thank you if you can figure out how to give yourself at least 7.
7?
At least 7.
Jesus, 7 hours of sleep, man.
Look, some of y'all just need to stop streaming shit. That's what it is. Like y'all getting super over addictive binge habit, and you're up there watching like Cowboy Bebop until 4 in the morning.
See,
by the way, that Cowboy Bebop show, I don't care if it was filmed at the same set, still decent.
Listen, man. If you had Cowboy Bebop on your bingo card today, you win absolutely nothing.
Points mean nothing, but you really need them. So you need to actually have good takes or funny takes, and that's how you get points. And the points are important. That it shows you how good you are. So you actually do want the points to win, even though it is actually nothing that you win.
While we're here, JFK. I know the Miami Heat haven't been playing basketball in a while, but the propaganda the last couple of weeks, especially during the finals, that was some nasty stuff, man. Not gonna lie. I don't know how you didn't run out of content.
That was good. That was real good.
I'm like, man, Draymond hate every single day, and it's a different take. Like, what are you coming up with this shit, man?
I could have added to it, but like I've kind of dropped back from that. Welcome everybody to the second hour. 808 has moved up here to co-host. We are moving into the NBA. We recapped the WNBA briefly. We'll be doing that as they have more games through the rest of their season. Also, the WNBA All-Star game is right around the corner. So if you haven't voted, preliminary votes have been added. You can still, I believe, tweet your vote. You just have to use the whole player name and a hashtag with WNBA All-Star hashtag as well. And even if they don't take it, do it anyway so we can increase the exposure of the W. And also, we get to look forward to, some great, I think, one-on-one matchups. We have a show. It is called Benchwarmers. And Nat, who's down below, Reese Rebel, is getting ready to rewrite some of it, and we'll finish workshopping it. But I think what we'll do also is be able to bring that aspect in here with the W and pit WNBA fans against each other in the morning time where we can preview some of the games and we can see, as a group who we think will win based upon the argument. So there's that. If you didn't come by yesterday, we had a deep dive to the NBA draft with Evan Townsend of Project Spurs and Matthew Maurer of the Draft Review. We're also using that as our debut show on YouTube. So it's over there. I'll get the tweet out so you can check it out. And all I ask, you go over there, you check it out. It's just like the show you hear now. If you like it, shoot a like and shoot a subscription, or sub, as the kids say. I don't know. I'm old. All right. I want to give a shout out to Cedric Shine popping in here, co-host of Live from the Mecca with Sean with a W for some New York Knicks talk. Also, co-host of KCDA, Knicks Chatter Day After with I Am Khalito and I Hate Sean of the Knicks Wall. Great New York content and even better in music. Like, that is beyond his wheelhouse. Like, he built the wheel. Like, I could honestly just listen to him and Maliika just talk about music that I kind of skipped over in the same time period just because my life was different. And I've said this to him before. Like, every time I hear him speak, like, I learn more and I appreciate that because I'm just weird like that. All right. News and notes of the NBA. The biggest one is Bradley Beal apparently is going to opt out of his $36.4 million contract, and a shocker that everybody saw coming, to possibly sign a supermax, which he is eligible for. There's also rumors amok that he has chosen Miami as his leading destination if he does not resign and stay in Washington. I personally, after talking with a few people, have also been told Dallas is a possibility, as is the Los Angeles Lakers. And like, the Lakers aspect would be a multi-team crazy bonkers trade, which is not likely to happen. However, this Dallas move, the way it was explained to me, was a 3-team trade where Dallas is essentially giving out depth to get another draft pick, and it'll be a draft pick and singular player-laden possible trade. So with that, you're looking at teams such as Philadelphia, who may be wanting to move off Tobias Harris, who can add young pieces and multiple picks. You could be looking at Oklahoma City, who's in the same situation. There's also a team that has a plethora of young players with another player coming back in the New Orleans Pelicans that I think a lot of people should actually be concerned about, because they have the flexibility to be a party to almost any trade in the league this offseason as well. So we got that to talk about. Up top, we have 808s and Snack Breaks, Maliika Walker, JFK, Dany D, Origami Hoops is up here. If you want to come on up, go ahead, raise your hand, and we'll bring you up after you do the following. Like and retweet the show card, which is the very first tweet in the Jumbotron, and shoot those up on stage or follow, because what we're doing here is, we're here to grow. If you can't do that, then, it is what it is. We appreciate you stopping by and listening. You can wave all you want. JFK, you're up next. What you got?
What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. I'm in a bad spot. Can y'all hear me?
Yep, we got you.
All right, perfect. All right, so yeah, first things first. The only reason why I had Draymond slander for 3 weeks straight is because he created that content for himself. I was just here to go ahead and display it on a different platform. You get what I'm saying? So it ain't nothing new. It was just repeated news. But the slander has moved on to Jason Tatum this summer. Everybody was talking about he's him, he's this, he's that. But Jimmy Butler is the one that showed up in Game 6 in elimination in the series, and he made it to Game 7. Jason Tatum still needs some work. I'm not going to say he's a bum, but he needs some work. Moving on from that, PJ Tucker opted out, which is, I kind of expected that when I saw Caleb Martin opt in. Reason for being that, first of all, let's talk about how Daryl Morey wants to bring back the old school goddamn Houston Rockets together by having interest in Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker, and giving $30 million to PJ Tucker. And I was in another space of saying that PJ Tucker was important to the Heat, and I got laughed at by 76ers fans, and look what's happening right now. So I don't know if he's trying to bring back the Houston Rockets together, bring the boys back on the East Coast. I don't know what he's doing, but hey, man, like that's a destruction in itself. The process is done. I got to move on to that. We did sign Caleb Martin back to his $2 million. Good thing is, I put it in a tweet, we are off of that Ryan Anderson contract, which frees up $5 million for us. We have the 27th pick for tomorrow's draft, which is probably about a $2 million contract. So there's a lot of room to be played with around with the Heat. What I do see happening, they're going to take their time. They're going to free up as much money as they can before they make a big move. And if Bradley Beal is willing to leave as soon as possible, then maybe he goes during the trade to get that 27th pick. But other than that, I really don't see the Heat doing anything crazy like that. But one thing I have to say, my bad. One thing I have to say though is that Pat Riley is making the moves to make sure that there is a team for Bam in the future. We still have our picks for 27 and 28. Which is still good, so we can still build upon that. So I'm not sure we're going to look towards getting anybody old. I think PJ Tucker is the oldest we're probably going to sign back. Damn, my bad, Udonis. If Udonis comes back, then yeah, we'll sign him. But then PJ Tucker. But John Wall, man, like, come on. I know my dog is sitting at the crib collecting checks, but I miss him playing basketball. You brought up a tweet yesterday. You want to see Ben Simmons? Nah, bump that. I'd rather see John Wall play in the league. Bring him back, and that's my propaganda today. Keep Ben Simmons on the bench and bring back John Wall.
Wow. The Hornets are in scramble mode. John Wall is opting in. A whole bunch of other things to get to. Appreciate JFK coming up here and explaining his Draymond slander. Interesting that he's moving on to Jason Tatum.
He needs it, Chris. That was embarrassing. Come on now. We had Celtics fans come in here saying Game 7, Game 7, Game 7. Ain't no Game 7, man. They got finished in 6. And I'm upset because if Chris Middleton played, we would have seen something different. If we had a healthy Larry under 18% body fat, we would have seen something different. So there's a lot of things to be talked about.
BBL.
You also had a Celtics fan come in Who Spaces, and we all told Buddy, like, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to stop it. You came here and said that y'all won the series after game 3, Chris. Like,
And
what are we doing?
he ran away. He didn't come back until after they lost the series. Words matter, people. All right, the Hornets are in scramble mode, and it's getting ugly. Miles Bridges is putting pressure on social media. They couldn't come to an agreement on assistant coach compensation with the guy they wanted to hire in Kenny Atkinson. He's staying in Golden State. Mike D'Antoni's in Charlotte talking to NJ about the job. LaMelo Ball's camp isn't happy. Gordon Hayward's been told that they're trying to move him. Mason Plumlee's contract just became fully guaranteed, which after last season, I'm shocked that happened. So we got that to get to. Nick Batum declines the player option. He, too, is a free agent, but more similarly to P.J. Tucker, he is doing it to get more years, more money. We can definitely talk about this P.J. Tucker 3-year, $30 million deal in Philly. Like, I had to almost put in a chat, like, if the Sixers do this, I might become what do they call the samurais? The fallen samurais? Like, they don't have a master.
Exiled samurais or something.
Yeah, it's like Gaijin or something. Like there's a specific name. Ronin. Like they don't have.
Ronin warriors.
Because like if we give a 37-year-old PJ Tucker 3 years and $30 million, like I don't know what the F that man in that office is doing. Like I don't understand. Like we're gonna end up like signing. I don't know. Maybe we'll bring back Daniel Nwaba, or not even bring back, but we'll get Daniel Nwaba. He'll come in. Maybe we can pick up Aaron Brooks as a backup point guard. Like, he was on that Rocket squad. Like, I need some help. I just don't get it. There's no direction, and that's what worries me about the Sixers. We got that. And then Chicago Bulls. Like,
Chris, listen. When Ag pulls off this Gobert trade without trading Patrick Williams, the heir apparent of Kawhi Leonard, we really gonna have to get that man the Executive of the Year trophy. Have to mail it to him this summer before the season even starts, man.
All right, go ahead and talk us through that, because if you haven't paid attention, yesterday really got heavy. The Bulls have been linked to Rudy Gobert out of Utah, and right now it's looking like it's Vooch first round. And what else, Adolis, can you talk
on? I actually don't have it in front of me. Give me a second. Coach, no, not Coach. Jesus Christ. Vooch, Kobe. I don't know if it's the Portland pick, but I know they're trying to like acquire more picks, which basically like started all of that. And like I said, if they do that without including Patrick Williams, which I don't know why they would need to. Like I said, give them the trophy, man. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, Rudy Gobert this, Rudy Gobert that." If you don't like Rudy Gobert, I'm honestly going to say it's because of non-basketball reasons or just the way you like basketball, quote unquote. But he's one of the best defenders of all time. If you look at his contract, I don't think it's bad, honestly. Like you look at it, this what is it, 40 plus over the next 38, 41, 43, and then a player option in 2025. I don't see a Rudy Gobert in his like early 30s going into the mid 30s as a bad player. I think his defense will still be not as elite, but I think he'll still be a very good player going to his 30s. So, and I think honestly, over the next 3 years, Rudy Gobert makes the Bulls a true contender.
You know what? I've got an idea here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a little bit of a different trivia show. I'm just going to start calling out team names for Rudy Gobert. And I'm going to ask you, does Rudy Gobert make them a championship contender? Because I think there's at least 4 teams that if he goes to, they are automatic contenders. The first one, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll get the polls out here. The first one, Toronto Raptors. Yes or no? Anybody can.
No.
Yes. No. What? Stop it. Stop it.
No.
I'll say no.
Y'all are nuts.
Why not?
I still think that they need to work on the guard situation. They got Precious
I
Achua
agree.
working alongside with Pascal Siakam, and I think they're young enough to go ahead and do that.
Wow. All
I
right.
think that makes them a contender. They have a lot of experience. The guys that did win on that team are still there and bleed. If they keep Pascal on there, and then there's another year of Scotty Barnes, who I think that he played above what people thought he was last year. So now he's going in his second year. You put Rudy Gobert there. He's another threat. They haven't had a real big there in a minute. So and that defensive threat with Rudy Gobert, I think that pushes them ahead of the game.
Hey, Nat, save your analysis. These people just told you one of the best defenses in the NBA. Adding Rudy Gobert is not a true contender. Please save your analysis.
That's a fair point, though, honestly.
But this is the thing, right? You think that what's his name, Rudy Gobert, is going to make you a contender in Chicago when you don't even understand what your problem is. Rudy Gobert is not going to make you a contender.
Hold on.
You think Rudy Gobert? No, we can do this. Rudy Gobert is not
Bulls'
going to make you a
only
contender.
problem.
No, it's not. It's
yes,
not.
No, wait, hold on. Nat, what you not going to do?
You have predictable offense. And
The
that's what you don't want to say.
Now you just lying.
No,
I know it's been a while
not.
since you've seen the Bulls play basketball, but you're lying.
No, they're so predictable. I can almost tell you what the hell happened. You don't use Vucevic correctly, then you're out here blaming your five for your issues. Your problem is you have a predictable offense. Billy Donovan is not it, and you don't want to say it. And therefore, you think that bringing over Rudy Gobert, who has less of an offensive bag, is all of a sudden going to make you a contender.
Because offense isn't the Bulls' issue.
Insane. That sounds insane. You don't think that it's an issue?
Nah, listen.
With that,
your defense is an issue. That's the problem with the Bulls.
Let's ask the question first.
Are you going to let the person that actually watched the games talk about it?
I want to get all of you on record first. I put the poll out in the box down below. We've got more no's than yeses for the Raptors, and now we have more no's than the Bulls. So officially, does Rudy Gobert make the Bulls a title contender? Yes or no?
Hell no.
Listen, wait, hold on. First of all, hold on. The Bulls' main issue, and whether y'all can agree with it or not, I watched every single game. The main issue was they had zero rim protection. Offense was not the issue. They had the best wing defense in the entire fucking league. Like, are y'all forgetting the basketball that we watched for 82 games? Before they got injured, the Bulls were the best defensive team in the league, and they only needed a true center next to Vooch. Vooch isn't even the issue. Vooch doesn't need to go anywhere. But the fact that Gobert is on the table is a move that you have to make. There's nothing wrong with this offense. It's not predictable. It's one of the best in the NBA when it was fully healthy, and they led the NBA in fast break points. We're not going to do this revisionist bullshit history.
Anyways, I ain't gonna lie. I have to agree with Nat on that one because, like, Vucevic was doing his thing in Orlando. So what is Billy Donovan doing with all these? Really not
a top 3 team for 4 months.
Yeah,
they were a top 3 team for 4 months.
Okay, but
they did have a lot of injuries too. Granted, I mean,
what are we talking about? Like, y'all, come on, man.
What we're talking about is a team that could not defend the top tier teams. They had losing records because
Danny, they were injured the entire time.
I don't get it.
Everybody was almost injured the entire time.
Listen, hold on, no. We not finna do this, bro. Patrick Williams. I'm not finna do this. Patrick Williams played 5 games. I don't care. Patrick Williams played 5 games. The Bulls were down immediately. Like, we not finna do this. Even without the team fully healthy, they were still the top 3 team in the East for months on end. We not finna do this revisionist history today. We not. Not on my time.
It's not really revisionist history. Like, every team goes through injuries. Like, they're just giving their opinion. That's all.
It's not an
They're
opinion,
a regular season team.
They're
not a playoff team. They're a regular season team.
You're right. They're not a playoff team because they haven't been to the
playoffs. It's Chris's time.
So Rudy Gobert is going to push you to number 1. Is Rudy Gobert going to push you to number 1?
In the East?
Yes.
Well, with a fully healthy squad like we had last year, for the majority of the season, like I think, yes.
Mm-hmm. So you're talking about Lonzo Ball, you're talking about Zach LaVine, DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and Rudy Gobert, and that's gonna push you over the top.
You're forgetting Caruso. You're forgetting the moves they're gonna make.
You wanted to trade Caruso 808s. You don't want Caruso on that team. So
for a better package for somebody else that's out there. First of all, I never want to trade Caruso. Let's stop that.
the problem that I'm hearing, right, is that someone just doesn't want to accept everybody else's opinion on their team. Like that's a hard thing to take in, right?
You see, Chris, it's not even that. Like, I'm not taking the opinion of somebody that didn't watch the games. You can't tell me what the issue of my teams is.
82 games, I've watched 37, and I don't think Rudy Gobert makes them a championship contender.
Right.
Well, you're just wrong. That's fine.
I respect.
I probably would say somebody like Miles Turner might help them more, but we're gonna keep
this
it on
motherfucker said Miles Turner over. Okay, the disrespect of Rudy Gobert is really insane. Y'all are nuts, bro.
Miles Turner is crazy. That's
insane.
What I'm saying. I think the disrespect of Vucevic is crazy.
All right, so apparently we have a hot because apparently the line of competitive, like title competing centers stops at Vucevic and starts at Rudy Gobert for some. Atlanta Hawks.
For what it's noted, Chris, I didn't even want to trade for Rudy Gobert until I heard about all the news and stuff. Because there's no reason to. All you need is another big, a defensive big that you can pair next to Vooch on the bench or depending on the starting lineups, matchups and stuff. Didn't need to trade for Rudy Gobert, but the fact that he's on the table is a move that you have to make. And y'all were really up here acting like Rudy Gobert is making half the teams in the NBA a contender. Y'all on crack, man.
I'm not. I said no to Chicago. I said yes to Toronto. I think that he would.
Everybody said no to Toronto. So.
Oh, I said yes. Like I don't care what they say. They're gonna say what they're gonna say. Like that's what they're gonna do.
Hey, you had Rudy Gobert to the Knicks, a championship contender?
Well,
Hell no.
You had Rudy Gobert to the Celtics, are they championship contender? No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Possibly.
That's a yes.
Yes. They were just in the finals, you know.
With Tatum shooting 70 for 22? I don't think so.
That is crazy.
Oh, you're depressed. I get the issue now.
You should be depressed. You should literally be depressed.
Shit.
After watching Jason Tatum shit the bed like that, I would be.
I thought the Sky win would have cheered you up. But
listen, man, Jaylen Brown outplayed Jason Tatum. That's all I know.
I mean, you would too if you're the secondary. If you're the secondary option, everybody.
Y'all took the Heat's place in the finals. The Heat deserved that more than y'all. The Heat deserved them more than you. The Heat deserved them more than you.
You
Jimmy
think
Butler
Rudy
is
Gobert
better.
Gonna make you a contender? That like, get him out of here. Like,
oh damn!
Mute his mic.
He's terrible. He thinks Rudy Gobert is gonna make Chicago a freaking contender. You can't even do shit with Vucevic. You think I'm gonna trust you with Rudy Gobert? Get out of here.
Well, it's not that. I just want people to be able to finish. He's here being super combative today. Ay.
Like
adding Rudy Gobert to the Knicks doesn't make the Knicks contenders. Like every Knicks fan will tell you that. They're worried about a point guard. They need a point guard.
Chris, I don't even think they want Rudy Gobert. That's the thing. I don't think
they want him either. I think they'll take him over you know who.
Right, of course. But I've never heard them say, we got to get Rudy Gobert. He's going to push us to top 5 seed. I've never heard a Knicks fan say that.
I was literally in the middle of the season saying, yo, give me Mitchell Robinson off the bench. Put him next to Vooch. And this team is the perfect of what I got. Like, I don't know what's wrong with y'all, bro. Like, yeah, pissed on my cornflakes, Danny. First of all, y'all got a fraud team that y'all really think will win a chip this year. Y'all couldn't get past Phoenix last year against trash-ass Diana Taurasi. So if you really want to go there, we can go there.
You know what, sir? We can go there another day. We're talking about NBA now. We passed on from the last.
Where's Tina Charles at? Where's Tina Charles at?
Hey, no, wait, come give me a hug, man. Because this is crazy. This is
disrespectful.
This sensitivity.
Hey, you like to switch up, though? You like to switch up? It's nice, ain't it?
I like a man.
Y'all are just on one today.
What are we doing, Chris? Like,
I'm trying to do something. Y'all are feeding him. Like I'm over here. Like y'all gonna stop?
I want to stop, but he needs to stop.
He was stopping.
Oh no, he wasn't. He wasn't done.
How's everybody doing this morning?
What's up, Jay? How you doing?
Hey man, how you doing, man? I feel like it's been a minute. You know,
it has. Like,
how you doing?
I can't even get through Rudy Gobert. Like, this is just getting untenable.
Well, I mean, first off, I mean, we're not gonna be crazy here and act like Rudy Gobert to like a Celtics team or any contender is not gonna be better. You know, it's that. Yeah, of course. I don't know why that's a thing. I mean, you put Rudy Gobert on a contending team. You know, I think it'll be fine, and I think the team will be fine. I don't know where that's coming from. But if you do put Rudy Gobert probably selected the Knicks, it's probably not gonna make him that much better though. But
I just want yes and no's. I was trying to get through Rudy Gobert because we have other players, but like I didn't realize Rudy Gobert was going to make people want to argue.
Honestly, I'm shocked that this whole Beal thing is still out there after my man is basically saying he didn't say none of that shit. So, I have no idea what's going on with Beal right now, man. This man is on one, or at least Michael Scotto is on one, or Scotto, whatever his name is on one.
See, this is the problem, right? Beal has always done this.
I know. That's why people hate him.
People don't believe him. He will still do it anyway, and we'll sit here and we'll be like, "Yo, you just told this dude.
Yeah,
this dude just told us, and then now you come back and say you didn't say it." Yeah. But it's like, "Yo, you said it." Like he's done this his entire career in DC because he gets away with it with local media.
Well, I will say this: if you're a Heat fan, you don't want him to opt out. Just say. If you're a Heat fan and you want him to join the Heat, you don't want him to opt out. You want him to opt in, so it's a lot easier to go ahead and do a sign and trade.
Well, no, if he opts in, you can't do a sign and trade. If he opts in, you have to trade on the current contract at 34/7.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Because I forgot it's a 1 year, right?
Yeah, by opting out, then he opens himself for the sign and trade for the Supermax, saying, "I don't want to play here. I want to play in Miami." Then he works the deal out with Miami.
Then Miami will be fucked because there'll be no way. There's no way that they can create that type of cap room.
Sure,
they would literally be not just over the tax side. They would be hard cap. They'll be everything. No, they wouldn't be able to put any more players.
They have to give up Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson.
No, it would be way more than that. I'm just saying, like to a point where they literally would not have anything to trade.
Well, no, I'm saying the cap. Like his deal won't hit past $48 million. You can get within 15%. So 47.5 with Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson gets you Bradley Beal's Supermax contract. Then you send out, probably.
But then they're hard capped, as in they won't have anybody to
Well, that's what it costs to compete nowadays, apparently.
I mean, they'll literally just have the starting five, and then that's it.
No, Jay, but you forgot. Look, a lot of restructuring has been going on. Yeah, we picked up the Caleb Martin contract for only $2 million, and for PJ to opt out, and we're coming off the Ryan Anderson contract for $5 million. We are freeing up a lot of space, so you can definitely see somebody going in a sign and trade, but that's not to get like Beal. Beal opting out can mean that he can come for whatever price that we can get him if he wants to come win.
Yeah, the only thing I thought of when I heard him opting out, if that's the case, if that's what he does, if he really wants to go to Miami, if that actually happens, the only thing I could think of is he doesn't do the Supermax right then and there. I think he would probably do something where it would be like a.
You don't need to, Jay. Like he already made his money in Washington.
Stop it.
Well, no. That's not what I'm saying. No. He's still gonna get the bag no matter what. What I'm saying is do like what LeBron would do, which is like the 2 years max, whatever it is, and then come back to the table and then do another extension.
He won't be able to do the 1-on-1. He's never really made it that high up to do the 1-on-1 trick. And JF, he's going to get the money because he's earned.
I know.
Like you're not gonna leave 200 whatever it is.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to create the space in my head for Heat so we can find a way to pick him up.
So Chris,
there is no creation of space.
Hold on, Chris. Hey, Chris, I'm curious about something though. If he opts in, then that means that he's opting into the $37 million, and then he's gonna do another contract that'll equal to about 240, and then you add that, then it's like 260, 270, whatever it is altogether, right?
No, he would opt in. It's 37.4. Then he would have to wait until the moratorium period's over, and he can
do the extension.
Do the extension with Miami. But then he wouldn't be guaranteed, the Supermax.
So when Bradley Beal goes to Miami,
he would have to trust Mickey Arians enough.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't even talking about Miami at that point. I was just talking about the Wizards. I mean, in the sense of them keeping him, right? If they were to go ahead and give him the Supermax and he accepts it in that type of way, would it be him making more money opting out or opting in?
Opting in.
That's what I thought. Because
I'm sorry, no. Opting out and signing the Supermax now makes him more money. If he then he runs the risk of having the CBA change. And then he runs the risk also if he does opt in to get traded, he can then having to trust the other owner and GM saying they're going to give me the Supermax after this year.
So is that what you mean by trusting Mickey Arison?
Yeah, he would have.
Okay,
If he were to go to
gotcha.
Miami, and if he were to opt in and then still go to Miami, he would have to trust Mickey Arons to honor, you'll give me the Supermax in the next contract negotiation.
I think we would be able to still do that because if the
you
CPA
could.
does change that, then and we get rid of Duncan Robinson, we definitely could do that.
You could, but then you open up two problems. You open up a tampering problem, right? Because that would be basically an under the table arrangement, which would be bylaws.
But that happens all the time.
We already lost a draft pick for that this year. So
and then the second part that would happen is you'd already lost that draft pick. The second penalty or third penalty, because I think it's the third time, is draft pick and money, right? So now you're literally paying the draft pick plus a fine.
Well, like I was telling Tony yesterday, man. Like if he is opting out, and if he does take meetings, to that point, then that just tells me that he's not doing the Supermax. Then at that point, I'm just saying, if he actually takes a meeting with Pat and he's just thrilled or whatever, I don't know how they work that money out. To be real with you,
I'm gonna get to Beal's in a minute.
Yeah.
I'll finish up some more Rudy Gobert talk, but I want Papi Chulo to come in because the next team that I have for Rudy Gobert is the Dallas Mavericks. Does Rudy Gobert being traded to the Dallas Mavericks make them a title contender?
Hey, Chris,
Depends on who they trade, but I say yes.
All right, so usually when I say a name, I'm going to the person whose name I said. Just throwing that out there. That's me setting up the person with that name. And I do that so that the person with that name knows that they have time to collect their thoughts and open the mic and go. So I'm going to do this again. I see Papi Chulo up here, one of the three hosts of 77 Spaces, and I'm so glad he's here because I have a question for him. The next team that I have a question for y'all with Rudy Gobert is the Dallas Mavericks. Hey, Papi Chulo, if Rudy Gobert gets traded to the Dallas Mavericks, does that make them a title contender?
Good morning, first of all, Chris. Good morning, everybody in the Hoop Spaces community. I see after the women NBA talk, we got a little frisky up here on stage. Rudy Gobert brings out, I guess, the best and the worst of everybody, just like in Utah. I will say that in Toronto, he makes sense. And in Chicago, I don't see the Twin Towers working. Sorry, 808. In the playoffs, we have seen that you need some smaller guys to spread the floor on the center position and the power forward position, and I just don't see how the Twin Towers work in today's NBA. For the Mavs, I mean, it could work, but I don't think we have enough assets. Just like with Bradley Beal, I don't think we have enough assets to get him. I mean, we just traded for Wood, who will help in the regular season, and again, the philosophy of Rudy Gobert not really spreading the floor. Like, he could work in season, but you need somebody to compensate him in the playoffs to have that spread that 5 out. You got to have those type of guys. But Rudy Gobert regular season could easily help the Toronto Raptors and the Mavs. But I just don't see it happening.
Wait, hold on. What Twin Towers would it be in Chicago? Because Vooch isn't on the team if Rudy Gobert is traded.
Oh, well, I figured, the way you were talking, 808, I thought maybe you were keeping Vooch. So I was like, damn, you want the Twin Towers?
Brother, I don't want Vooch to go. I just want a defensive big that is over 6'9". That is all I want for Christmas. And Ak better be listening.
He wants Vanderbilt from Minnesota.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind those 8 rebounds. I wouldn't.
And actually, he's also stealing a block a game too. So the next question, and real quick for those, because I know Papi Chulo here answered, who thinks Rudy Gobert makes Mavs a title contender? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Next team, Memphis Grizzlies. Since nobody wanted to do the Hawks. The Memphis Grizzlies. Anybody?
Yeah.
I would say no.
Ooh, all right. Why your no, and then we'll go to Nat for the yes.
I think he would kind of bring down their speed a little bit. I think they want to kind of get out and transition a little bit more. He might slow them down a little bit too much. He would be a great asset in a half court though, which could be beneficial in the playoffs if it slows down the pace. But I don't know.
All right.
Chris,
Nat, go
how did
ahead.
you know I was a yes for Memphis?
You said yes.
I did not for Memphis. I said it for the other team.
No, I said yes.
Oh,
Yeah, that,
oh, my fault. I thought you said yes, Nat.
you were correct though.
Okay, well we'll go to you first, and then Danny second, and then JF after her.
I mean, things turned around with them in the playoffs when they had Steven Adams, and everyone said Steven Adams slowed them down, and that wasn't the case. He actually helped them a great deal. I think you add Rudy Gobert, who I think he's one of the better big men who set picks, in the league. I think that'll really do something for them. So I definitely think that makes them a contender. They also have to work on their IQ and how they play, but I think that will happen with time. But Rudy Gobert makes them a contender.
All right, Danny, go ahead. What do you got?
He would make him a contender because then that pushes Jared Jackson out a little bit because he wants to be a four. He likes to shoot outside. That gives them the ability for the rebounding, pick and roll, and definitely defensively on their end. So I definitely think he would do that for him, more or less. That's why.
All right, JFK, your hands up. What do you got for the basketball discussion? Then we'll go up back to Justin Shock, leader of Heat Spaces, because the next question after the last Rudy Gobert one is going to be Heat related, and we'll get his thoughts, your thoughts, on Heat fan burner account. Want to welcome everybody who's just joined us. Thanks for popping in. If you want to come on up, raise your hand and get up here. There's plenty of space. JF, go ahead.
Yeah, Chris. We talking about Rudy Gobert. He's this and he's that, but from what I've seen these past couple of years, is a lack of play from the four position. I mean, I grew up in an era where fours actually meant something and fives actually meant something. So is that change is the reason why you see Rudy Gobert being praised about like that? Because I'm coming from an era where Sheed Wallace is there, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki. You get what I'm saying? These are all fours that had their own style of game. So that's why I don't know, to me, I think Rudy Gobert gets too much praise just because of the lack of fours or the sizes of fours. Because I'm looking at the list of the fours in the league right now, and it's crazy because we're talking about PJ Tucker getting offered or being thought of getting offered a $30 million contract, and he's this old. So I think, Rudy Gobert can make a difference on a couple of these teams, but do you think that's an accurate statement to say?
I just think the game changed. Even back then, Otis Thorpe was 6'9", 225, and he played the four for 20 years. Chris Webber, by the time he retired, was 6'8" and 250. So the idea of this large four is more nostalgic than anything. Tim Duncan played four, but honestly, he was a five. You have to go back into the 80s to really go into the land of Twin Tower bigdom, Sampson, Olajuwon, Mahorn and Lambeer. But even Rick Smits and Dale Davis was another set. They were designed to dominate the inside and rebound and get second chance shots and putbacks. The league changed to a more perimeter oriented league, in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then it was supercharged by the San Antonio Spurs prior to the creation of what Golden State was. So when you look at the Spurs, and this is why Tim Duncan, a lot of people say he's a five, they created the construct of the modern NBA stretch four. Matt Bonner, Davis Bertans after him, and there were several players even in the 80s and 90s that they did this. So it's been here. The issue is more of nostalgia than anything. So
Chris, I find it real funny that one, I have to be up here being a Rudy Gobert defender this morning. The fact that this dude has a point guard on his team, actually I forgot. Donovan Mitchell's not a point guard. He's a combo guard that averages 2 passes a game to Rudy Gobert, not assist, 2 passes. And we're acting like Rudy Gobert has ever played with a dominant wing on his team, ever. He's piloted these defenses every single year to the playoffs on his back, on his own. And we're acting like he wouldn't lift all these other teams to be contenders that have formidable defenders.
To be fair, I think part of the reason why Donovan Mitchell stopped assisting him was because he assisted Donovan Mitchell with COVID back in the day. So maybe that could be it. I don't know.
Hey, Jay, do you have a basketball reason of why he doesn't pass to him?
Because he can't.
Yeah, my thing is he just doesn't pass. I mean, I don't know, man. It's it's funny though too. It kind of reminds me of like a Goran Dragic effect that we had back in Miami way back. We had Hassan Whiteside, right? And like the funny thing about Goran was he was known for like throwing the worst lob passes ever. And like I don't know how you throw a horrible lob pass to a 7-footer, but it can happen. And we had that for years. And then it finally came over time. Goran Dragic was like in his mid-30s when he finally found out that he can throw lob passes. So I don't know. So, some players just have it, man, like that, and some don't. I mean, shit, Dwayne Wade can throw the best lob passes I've ever seen. You know what I mean? And he's not even a point guard. So it's just I don't know. Some guys just have, some don't.
Well, it's positioning. If you look at what Donovan Mitchell does, where he prefers to have the ball when he attacks, he's not really in a good position.
Right.
It's like he just can't. He's 6'1" with like a 6'10" or 7-foot wingspan, and he can't pass over the top of defenders.
Right.
That's it.
I know. I've seen some videos that B-Ball Breakdown has done on Rudy Gobert. He kind of points out that he kind of fumbles the ball a lot. So that may be one reason why they don't feel confident passing it to him, maybe, but maybe it could be something else.
It's a big man problem because, like I said, like even Hassan Whiteside, when we had him, like when he was like, we thought he was him at that time, he had the same problem. It was just fumbling with hands. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's a big dude thing. I don't know. It's just
he didn't want to work, Jay. That was his problem.
Yeah,
I'm glad he left.
That too. My God, my Lord. But anyways, Chris, we can move on.
Last question for Rudy Gobert. The Los Angeles Lakers. If somehow they manage to create a 3-team trade to move Westbrook and get Gobert to team up with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, does that make the Los Angeles Lakers a title?
That's a finals championship team right there.
You think so?
that team isn't even making it to the playoffs.
Wow.
That is actually a very interesting question right here.
You put Rudy Gobert next to the most intelligent basketball player of all time.
No.
Jay, I understand your brain is mush because you lost in the conference finals. I get it.
No.
Wow.
I mean, in the real world here,
and to kind of like piggyback, right? Is because it's like, think about it. LeBron, it's not me being worried about LeBron, right? Because I mean, just look at it. The whole thing of like Russell Westbrook going to LA was like, oh shit, we about to have Russell with LeBron. Like LeBron's about to coach that. Like it's about to be on. Didn't happen.
Bro,
you know what I'm
Lakers fans said
you're
that.
Comparing Russell Westbrook to Rudy fucking Gobert, bro.
That everybody else outside, we were like, what the F?
I'm sorry. Two overrated players? I can't compare two overrated players?
No, you can't compare one of the greatest defenders of all time and acting like Russell Westbrook is.
And one of the worst offensive players I've ever seen. They can't even do an alley-oop.
How many guys can you name?
Well, I think Rudy would probably mesh with LeBron in that system more if they choose to keep doing the LeBron system because he doesn't need the ball. He's not ball dominant per se. He just kind of get it when he can. So I mean,
like LeBron had JaVale McGee averaging double figures.
Like once again, y'all let
That's what I'm saying.
Y'all let y'all personal preferences overrule basketball logic.
That's okay. Like
contender.
The biggest thing the Lakers missed offensively was a roll man. Like that's all Rudy Gobert.
Right. But I guess the thing is that I'm thinking of too is that Rudy Gobert's not really known for his offense. So now you're also
he doesn't need to be.
Jay. They beat us with a JaVale McGee and a Dwight Howard. LeBron James would get the job done with.
Yeah, like that's what I'm
like. What are we talking about, bro?
JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard.
I'm gonna answer this question like this. I think
with the best defense in the NBA that season.
This nigga had AD, bro. Like they won in the bubble and that was it,
bro. That don't mean
and I can say that.
But that logic, they would still have AD and Gobert. Like,
But
Thank
what?
you.
Yeah,
But only one
Thank you
person
for
can have
proving
the
my
ball,
point.
Chris.
say what?
I mean,
you know,
only one person can have the ball. I mean, that's the same problem with Westbrook, right? Like it's always
No,
That's
because
not the
Gobert
problem
doesn't.
with
He's not
Westbrook.
going to have the ball except for running. He's going
oh
to
my
be
god.
nothing but a rim runner. They're not going to give him the ball on the post. They're not going to give him on a flare or floppy. Like he's literally going to set a screen and run and put his hand up.
I
Yeah,
got
as
it.
a Heat
I
fan,
got it. So basically,
we
whenever they're
couldn't score
playing
on that.
teams that can shoot and they go small, they're gonna have to sit him down, right? Because that's
Probably.
basically what they did in Utah.
If
Yeah.
he's
yeah.
Because
no,
that's the problem.
wait, hold on. We're not gonna do this because this is lazy narrative. If you really believe that, then you can tell me that you didn't watch a single Utah Jazz game this season. This man was out defending the 3-point line. What are we talking
Oh
about?
God.
Well, no, he's talking about when the other
Who
team.
cares about offense? Who cares about the other team going small?
When the other team is up and go small, then Utah had to sit Rudy Gobert because.
Yes.
Because no, why? Because
But they were already going to lose that game.
thank you. It's fucking Utah.
Like you're making all these arguments, and it's just because you don't like Rudy Gobert.
I
Like
am in
that's all it
tears.
Thank
is.
you.
You
I
know,
am
Chris,
in
I think to answer your question, I will say no, but with a caveat. I'm going to say no, but I think that they will make the playoffs with Rudy on the team.
See, I can take that. Like I'm just saying, like Rudy's going to average like 8
Absolutely.
points, 16 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game.
I see 12
Yeah, I don't
points,
want to.
honestly.
I don't want to see Jimmy Butler going against that in the finals. That's disgusting.
Just saying. All right,
Chris, if I may make a motion, I would like to propose that we do talk about the Atlanta Hawks getting Rudy Gobert. But if not, that's okay too.
I tried, but nobody really wanted to.
Oh, they don't want to know the truth. That would elevate the Hawks to a championship potentially.
That would help the Hawks.
It would help. I don't see them winning a championship.
I mean, they had the best offense in the league. They just couldn't defend worth a damn. And then you add the best defensive center in the league. I mean, you add Trae Young. I mean, arguably one of the best passes in the league. And if he could
And what
make
about the 2, the 3?
Oh my
Like,
God.
what are the 2
hold
then?
on. Y'all finish.
Oh, you mean Hoyter? Hoyter is very
Can I
good.
finish talking? Can I?
It's Herter, not Porter, and let 808 finish.
Like,
It's actually Red Velvet.
you know, when I started talking 20 minutes ago, I said, don't let your personal preferences overrule, like, you know, sound basketball. You acting like you plug in a guy that does one thing and maybe two things at an elite level. You just put him on another team. That's it.
Yeah, but you're not just adding him. You got to subtract a lot of shit to
No,
get him.
you don't.
Are you
The
serious?
Hawks you do.
I'm talking about the Hawks.
Yeah, the Hawks you do. The Hawks you're talking probably
They would have to gut out the whole roster.
Yeah,
to go ahead
Collins
and
Hunter or Collins and another young player and probably Herter just for salary cap.
So you're losing your 2, your 3, your 4. Like, fuck.
Okay, you're losing Kevin Herter. I don't think they're gonna miss Kevin Herter. I'm sorry.
Oh my God!
Not
So
as a starter.
You're missing Red Velvet, right? Bogdanovich, whatever his name is, Bogey, right? Then you got what's the young brother that was clamping up on Tyler Hero the whole entire time? He might be gone too.
Oh, right.
Well,
yeah, the one right.
You have Wright, Bogdanovich,
Hunter,
Gallinari.
Hunter
are under contract. Collins is under contract. Right now, the trade would be to the Jazz that I've seen is Clint Capella, John Collins, and either Herter or I think it was Jalen Johnson and multiple picks.
I don't think that's really gutting the team, honestly.
Yeah, they would still have Trae Young, DeAndre Hunter, and
what are we talking about, man?
So that's so 808s. This is my question. That's a Easter Conference Finals appearance and a win, and possibly get into the finals. You think that's what it's going to take?
It depends on what else Schlink adds in the summer, but arguably, yeah, I can see that team going to the Easter Conference Finals.
Lord have mercy.
Wait, hold on. Through the season, the Hawks had the best offense in the league. They led every efficiency stat. What are we talking about?
And lost in 5 games.
Come on.
Well,
dog.
hold on. Let's put that in context. Health and safety protocols.
What?
A lot of players were missing. A lot of their core players were missing because of health and safety protocols. That's why it affected their record and their chemistry.
Hold on, whoa. Are you not remembering what happened with Miami then?
Bro, the Hawks had the most COVID designations in the entire NBA.
No. Let me finish. I said Miami. I was saying Toronto. I was going to keep going. My thing is that has nothing to do with anything. I mean, Miami literally had like majority of whether it's COVID or whether it's being hurt or whatever, we had the most amount of 10-day contracts, I think, in the league at one point. Like, and we still made it to number one. So I mean,
Kyle Guy.
but dude, we had Kyle Guy and Nick Stauskas. like you can't tell me anything right now. I'm sorry, brother. Like
that might be constituted the coaching though.
Hold on. They were starting Timotei Luwawu-Cabarrot at power forward, small forward, and shooting guard. They started Skylar Mays. They started Gorgie Dang. Every team had crap lineups.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? I told you, this is the three. If they make the trade, it's Young, Hunter, Gobert. That's your three. Is that three taking you to the finals?
You know, I just find it funny how Heat fans up here clowning people. Like, you know, Kyle Guy and Gabe Vince, all the other guys, but it's Heat culture this, Heat culture that. You know, it's real crazy.
First off, I never
nobody's clowning. Nobody.
And then plus also think about the coaching situation. I mean, you get Spoelstra versus McMillan. I'm taking Spoelstra. Like,
yeah, well, we tried to tell Hawks fans about Nate McMillan, and they didn't want to listen to us.
I knew about Nate because of the Pacers. I have some history.
Origami must have gotten a phone call. Matt, what do you have on this Hawks and Gobert thing? And then we're going to move on to the next player.
I mean, I'm not mad at it, you know, Trae Young, Gobert, but my problem is the 2, 3, and the 4. Like, how else do you fill out the rest of that roster? I'm not mad at it at all.
Can anybody hear me?
I love Gobert. Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, no, I'm getting.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, I like that. I think wherever Gobert is, he's going to make a positive impact. But with the Atlanta Hawks, everything to me depends on what they do 2 through 4. Because I'm not like, if Herter is still on that team, that doesn't scare anybody. That, to me, that's not going to work. So they have to do some more roster construction. But Young and Gobert, that's a nice little duo there. Just add some more pieces, though.
Young, Gobert, you keep DeAndre Hunter somehow, and you just fill out the rest, man.
But Hunter is good. But like, this is my thing. Like, what is Hunter going to come back and give you next year? Like, that
He's
you're
not.
going to think. But
Bogdanovich is big for them too, granted. But I see what you're saying, though, Nab. I mean, I can see some arguments against it too. I see what you're saying, though.
No,
hey, Origami,
just line up. Hold up, real quick. Just line them up with the rest of the East, like the East side that made the second round, the third round. Just line them up. If you put Gobert on that team, then the rest of the team, and I just don't see it unless they make other moves. But regardless, Atlanta is literally going to look different next year.
Yeah, the easiest way. All right, Gobert, Trae Young, DeAndre Hunter. Does that beat Embiid, Harden, Tobias Harris?
No.
Does it beat Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry?
No.
Does it
beat Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan?
Well, no, I'd say Vucevic.
You said Kyle Lowry, and I was like, maybe.
Now you crazy.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
So the Bulls, does it beat Vucevic, DeRozan, LaVine?
Oh, is Zach LaVine still going to be there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Have you been sleeping under a rock for the last 2 months?
Yes.
Like they like everybody, like there's zero news coming out from Zach other than he's re-signing in Chicago.
Right.
Oh, I mean, literally all I kept hearing about was that he was testing free agency, but okay.
Nah.
Listen, man, when you the new girl on the block, you know, you got the free dinners, you got the Gucci bags, you got the Prada bags, you know, you want everything.
All right, does it beat Tatum, Brown, and
No?
Hell no.
Does it beat KD, Kyrie, and Ben?
Hell no.
So then they're already now at 5-6. So is a 5-6 seed a championship contender? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then the Hawks would be a championship contender.
Jesus Christ!
Like, how sick is that?
I mean, without injuries last year, they would have been one.
You know what, Chris? I moved to strike. They can't even beat the Knicks. Anyways, let's move on.
Oh, that's ugly.
Oh, wow.
Come
on, y'all know Trae Young owns the Garden. Come on.
I want to give some shout outs down below. Shout out Warren from Day One from Clubhouse and here on Twitter Spaces. Congrats on everything you've accomplished over the last 2 years. Shout out Nightingale of Warriors Twitter fame. Young Harriet in the building as well. Slam. is in the building. I mean, pick up card game from slamgoods.com is in the building. Make sure you head over there so you can pick up your copy. I see Logan the Foot, Afisha, let's see, Al. We got a whole bunch of people popping in here, but we don't have a whole bunch of people raising their hands. So if you don't want to raise your hand, that's cool. There's a chat box down below. You can type what you want to chat up, and we'll get that up there. If you want to come up, then you have to like and retweet the show card, which is the very first tweet on the Jumbotron, and you have to follow the people up on the stage because otherwise, like, you're just here to promote yourself without, helping the discourse and conversation in the community. With that, the next player we want to talk about is Bradley Beal. We opted out. I'm only going to give you 4 teams though this time, not 6. And no polls for Bradley Beal because I want to wait until he actually quote says what he's really said, even though he said stuff. Bradley Beal to Miami. Does that make Miami a championship contender? Yes or no?
Yeah, he's already a contender, so yeah.
No.
Oh, God.
You're asleep.
I'll say yes.
I love
What
it.
are we doing, Chris?
It depends on who they give up, honestly, but I think it would definitely help a lot. I'll say yes. Yeah, I want them to say yes.
Once again, y'all are expecting Jimmy Bean Bucket, the guy that they say is one of the best, hardest workers in the NBA. Again, to not blow a tire when you need him not to the most. And what did he do this season after I said he was going to do? Bro, who's the team leader?
But wouldn't Bradley Beal help Jimmy Butler because now he takes that offensive load from
And
Jimmy
you
Butler?
expecting Bradley Beal to be Bradley Beal in Washington? Okay.
What is
that?
Bradley Beal in Washington? What is this?
Has Bradley Beal ever led a team?
That's why.
That is
hold on.
anything that
he did. He
about-
did. Then when Wall went down, right? He was doing pretty well.
Listen, Bradley Beal never made the playoffs until Westbrook came and saved him.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ, 808s.
Chris, I can't even.
Westbrook came and saved the Wizards and they went to the play-in.
Oh, this is so bad. Bradley Beal doesn't have to be Bradley Beal of Washington if he's in Miami, because Miami has 2 19 to 24 point per game scorers. So, we don't need him to be a 30-point per game scorer, and we don't need him to average, more than 4 or 5 assists because he just needs to hit the open man when the double team rolls his way. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we doing this 808s? It's just insanity. Like, next I'll say if Bradley Beal goes to Boston, you're going to tell me no because, like, he'll ruin the chemistry between the two Jades. Like, I have no idea where we're going here. But we'll go to the Western Conference because I had an interesting conversation with a Warriors fan, right? They actually think that Bradley Beal to a team like the Denver Nuggets might be something that would be concerning because the Nuggets can make this trade without giving up Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and if they come back healthy and you add Bradley Beal, what are your thoughts to Bradley Beal going to the Denver Nuggets? Does this make them a championship contender? In this poll, I will get out.
You want to stack, Chris?
If they can manage to do that, what you just said, that might make them a super contender.
Bradley Beal shot 34% on jump shots. This is the man y'all relying on? Okay.
But the defense can get in him easily.
Have fun
when you're the only dude out there.
Wait, but how many games did he play this season?
I don't think he played much at all.
He played 40.
This season.
He played 48 games, and that's what you're banking on, dude? Like, come on, man.
I mean, Jimmy might play 60 next year.
I mean, for that 808s, look at the rest of the league with a lot of guards that were down in percentage since you want a stat watch. A lot of guards.
I mean, I'm just saying, we can do this for a lot of guards. You just can't do it for none.
Exactly. So once you said you could do it for a lot of guards, it made your point null and void when you got to Bradley Beal.
Hey, is 808s being cantankerous this morning? Like, is that what it is? Like, is he just...
Yes, he got kicked off earlier today.
I guess. My Lord.
All right, I'm sorry. My son came in because he needed some help with some English work. All right, Bradley Beal to Denver. I'm getting the poll up there, and I heard, again, the guys coming in full heel action, like WWE. 808s, man, are you okay? Like, did you get your medicine this morning? You need some coffee?
You see, Chris, I just find it funny that these people are crying Bradley Beal to be, the savior for these teams, that they were just shitting on Rudy Gobert. Like,
What?
Like, tell me where y'all basketball intelligence is at.
All right.
So
So can I give a real take, Chris?
yeah. I need
He needs a hug. That's what he
This is
because
a
needs.
real
the,
take.
the the
Like,
question I had was, does Bradley Beal make Denver a title contender? And like,
yes, he does.
Yes,
Yes, he
Like,
does,
absolutely.
Chris.
easy.
yes, but one person.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
Chris, he
Yes,
No,
he
does.
he
does.
does not.
Yes,
Because
he
100%.
does.
he gives Denver 3 offensive options that quite honestly are guys that you can't stop. Like, and the bigger issue though for Denver is their defense, because that's been their Achilles heel for the past several years for them to jump and leap as a contender. But Bradley Beal plugs up a lot of those holes and deficiencies on the defensive end, just because you have Jokic, Jamal Murray, and you would have Bradley Beal, who are your scoring options, and that would be utterly just devastating.
So
All
I
right.
don't know, Chris. I'm
basically,
gonna
So,
say no on
Jokic
that
and
one.
808, hold on, dude, before you start hating. We just want to
I'm
get
not.
off our.
It's not
Can
hate.
we
I'm
just
just
It,
finish?
saying,
Can we just
it
finish?
sounded a
Bro,
Can we
808s
just
be
finish?
doing generational hating, bro.
Chris. It's not
Okay,
hate. I'm
wait,
just saying, you
808s.
expecting Aaron Gordon and Nikola
808s.
Jokic to hold up your whole
You
defense?
just
I'm a,
compared
I'm a
Hey,
do
Bradley
you
Beal and
sleeping?
Rudy Gobert.
see. I'm gonna do this again, because apparently everybody is lost in sauce here. All right, understand what I said. The Nuggets don't need to give up Porter Jr. or Murray. Ain't nobody said anything about Aaron Gordon. Like, they have to move Aaron Gordon in this deal. In fact, they would have to move Aaron Gordon, Marcus Morris, and Will Barton in this deal. So they're not on this team in this hypothetical scenario. So you're actually lining up a Denver Nuggets of Jamal Murray, Bradley Beal, Michael Porter Jr., Nikola Jokic, and probably Jeff Green starting at power forward. Is that a title competing team? Yes or no? Like, that's all I need. Yes or no?
It is.
No,
Man, they're a title contending team now.
Yes.
No.
no, hell no.
Chris, they definitely are a title contender just for the reasons I stated earlier. Like, you have 3 devastating offensive options. The only issue with Denver has been their defense, but I feel like the combination of those 3 offensively cover up their lack of defense. So yes, they are a title contender. You have Bill Jamal
A
with
Yeah,
32
Chris,
big
points per
that's a
facts.
game.
horrible trade. They lose so much depth on if they give up Marcus Morris and Will Barton. Like, who are you gonna have to come
And
in off
Aaron
the
Gordon?
Come on,
You're
dog. Stop.
you're gonna
With
cry over
that
Marcus
trade,
Morris and Aaron Gordon and then say that
Nah,
Bradley
Aaron
Beal
Gordon
doesn't
is
help
fucking
that.
Well,
terrible.
you're going for 3 for
Whoa, whoa,
1.
whoa,
So
whoa,
what
whoa,
depth
whoa.
are
We're
you
not
gonna
finna
have
trash
after
Aaron Gordon
Beal?
right
Come
now.
on, dog.
No, we're
And
not
well,
trash.
whoa. We're not going to trash Aaron Gordon? Like, have you not heard what you said about some of these other trades? And you want to stand on principle and say we ain't trashing Aaron Gordon? Oh, man, that was thick. Like
I did.
whipped cream on a coffee.
So
Can we
so
please
this
let
is
my
my
man
thing though.
because I think he got some wisdom he can part on 808s.
I want Nat to go because she's been trying to go, and then we'll
Thank
get
you.
everybody else in. Nat, go ahead.
Yeah, see, to me that doesn't make sense. What I witnessed, is my team who has one of the worst benches I've freaking ever seen, you know, get to the damn finals or whatever, and we had a lot of
lost in
issues.
6.
Oh God, Jesus Christ. I'm talking to somebody that's
Is it
behind.
really hard to let her finish?
I'm talking to somebody that's behind me that lost to me. Like, better luck next year. You know what I'm saying? But anyway,
Damn.
like that's just weird. Like, it's just weird at this point. The Denver Nuggets, with you tied at Jamal Murray, Bradley Beal, Porter Jr., Jokic. Who gives a shit who's on that power forward position? Because look at the rest of what you just said. They would fill out that roster with veterans and some more shit. That is a championship contending roster. Also, I think that they'll get better defensively. You also have to understand that Bradley Beal, I think, actually helped Jamal Murray because sometimes he can be streaky, trying to do too much. I actually think that with the presence of Bradley Beal, he actually might level out and not try to do too much. So yes, that makes them a contender. I know that's not hard, guys, to just listen sometimes.
And I also want to add in, they would actually still keep Bones Highland, who would move back to his natural 1 position. They would still be able to keep DeMarcus Cousins as the backup big, Brian Forbes as a backup guard, and they actually have a young player, Zeke Naji, who's stretch four, who's probably going to start getting some run as Jeff Green, the immortal Jeff Green, who I wish never retires in the NBA, eventually does retire because, like, Father Time undefeated. I want to give everybody a welcome and a shout out down below. We appreciate you popping in here. I see Brandon in the building. We appreciate it. Juicy's here. Dylan's here. New York Jaws here. Whole bunch of people are here. What's up, courtside? Thank you for popping in and making any part of your day with us here. We're also on YouTube, powered by audiolabs.io, in a beta test. Hopefully everything goes great because I can't wait to pass this on to those who actually make content here on Hoop Spaces. All right now, the talk is Bradley Beal. If you've missed any of the previous talk, you can see the polls up top. It was Rudy Gobert. If you want to have a comment, you can either respond to the poll or you can look at the bottom right and you see this chat box. I swear, if you come up here and you want to rehash some Rudy Gobert, I'm going to be like, why wasn't you up here on stage 20 minutes ago? Like, it's over. We are on Bradley Beal. And I say that because I got like 3 people DMing me about Rudy Gobert.
Chris, can I find myself real quick? Because,
no, you've done some indefensible things, man. I think you just need to chill because...
Wait, all I said was Aaron Gordon. Y'all got finna trash him. We gave him 16 points, like 6 rebounds.
Nah, man. Like, you can't come up. You cannot do this. Like,
Aaron Gordon was a key cog in those Denver Nuggets teams the last 2 years. Y'all not finna act like
why? Why? Because players were injured. Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray played the lion's share of the games. Are we talking about Aaron Gordon?
I mean, arguably still a little bit,
yeah. Aaron Gordon was a key cog on disappearing, too, in the playoffs.
He was. And this is Killer Miller, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you finding us here.
Hey, man, appreciate you inviting me up, bro.
Go ahead. What you got for Bradley Beal in Denver?
Yeah, that would be a problem. I mean, once again, when you got a lot of dudes, you got your star players injured and Joker out there by himself, and then they come back, and then you kind of add Bradley Beal to that mix, the scoring is going to be off the chain. Their offense should be working like a well fine-tuned machine. Now, I ain't going to lie. Once you get deep in the playoffs, defense would become a question, and it's going to become a philosophy. Are you going to outscore everybody, or are you going to actually stop somebody? You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, they don't, you know what I'm saying, even with Bill there, they really won't be able to stop anybody late in the playoffs. It'll be difficult. They'll be in a position where they're just outscoring people. And I don't think you can do that in the playoffs, especially when you're playing good defensive teams. You know what I'm saying? It'll be extremely fucking hard to stop them. But, or stop here or there, yeah. You can just, like I say, be consistent and stay ahead. So, yeah. That defense is a problem, but the offense would be just beautiful with them guys in place. You know what I'm saying? And once you add Bill there to the mix. And yeah, Aaron Gordon, please. You know what I'm saying? Dunk champion my ass. Go ahead.
The comp that I make, and by the way, this is my favorite what if off-season trade, is Bradley Beal to the Denver Nuggets. The best comp I have, the actual run and gun Sacramento Kings, Mike Bibby, Jason Williams, Chris Webber, Peja Stojakovic, Vlade Divac, just an offensive dynamo team that can play multiple offensive sets through multiple offensive players. And at that point, we're asking, does offense override defense, right? That's my question, because I think this trade makes them number 2 behind the defending champions, the Golden State Warriors.
Hey,
as far as the Nuggets defense,
I was actually just about to mention them because the way that Killer Miller described it and what y'all been talking about, that reminds me of what Curry said. You don't want to see us next year. That's essentially what Denver would be saying. Well, that's kind of what they are saying now, I would say. And then if you add Bradley Beal to that, they're saying it even louder, like with the megaphone.
I want to get in RTB. We got AJ. AJ, do us the favor, shoot us a follow. CJ's up here, JFK, Reese Rebel, 808s, and then also Mr. Gifted and the Big Blades. RTB, go ahead.
To be honest, I don't think they need to add Bradley Beal. They have a good team themselves. Y'all kind of too hard on Aaron Gordon. If Michael Porter Jr. there, Aaron Gordon doesn't have to make an offensive load. He's supposed to be a defender. He's the back end of their defense. And Jamal Murray, before he got hurt, his defense was improving drastically too. So, and Bradley Beal, yeah, he's a great scorer, but he just hasn't. To me, in my eyes, I don't think he's just that winning piece. Like I put him like in the same category as Kyrie. Like he's a great player, but if you add him to certain teams, that don't necessarily put them over the hump. To me,
We don't know yet. It's never been a case.
when
You know what I'm saying? Like
when they
he's
would
never had anybody
when they was
around
with
him.
when he was with John Wall, they
That's not a
underachieved.
winning player, bro.
They
That's not a winning player.
they
Come on now.
underachieved. They had the
That
best back. They had the best backcourt in the East, and they underachieved. So,
What about
dog.
the rest of the team, though? What
Thank
about the
you.
rest of the team?
what do
They
you mean? What about the
underachieved.
rest of the team? We talking about
They
Bradley
so
Beal. We're not talking
Yeah,
about
so
the
this
rest
is
of the
my
team.
thing. But this is my thing though. You're literally saying that Bradley Beal is not a winning player and he's not going to make a difference, which is weird to me.
But
So
he
I
hasn't
don't agree
won,
with
so
you.
that's not
But hold
weird.
on. But hold on. You don't just go John Wall and Bradley Beal and then you play 2-on-5. What about the rest of the
They
team? Why
had a
didn't
decent team. Do
they
not act.
decent? What do you?
They didn't have a good
Okay,
team.
okay.
Hey, yo, let her finish, man. Come
Yeah,
on.
you gotta let her finish her point, man. Like you keep interrupting when she's trying to finish her counterpoint, so then you can respond.
Who was the small forward on that team? Who were they beating? Who did they get beat by? Who were the power forwards on that team? How was the bench? There's so many other things. When John Wall and Bradley Beal played together, they were one of the best backcourts in the league, offensively and defensively. But they still have the rest of the team that you have to worry about. So calling somebody not a winning player is crazy to me when once he left, who did he play with after that? When you talk about John Wall's gone. You got Bradley Beal and who? Hachimura? Who else? So how can you say he's not a winner when he's never had that team or that chance?
Okay. When they had that team, they had the best 3-point percentage shooter in the league, Otto Porter, at that time. Go back and look at that. They had one of the top defenses. Yes. Yes. Go look at that. Otto Porter, that's why he got that big contract. He was one of the best 3-point shooters in the league at that time. They had a top 5 defense at that time. They had multiple defenders. They had a great team. So I'm not understanding that.
This is why I say that they don't, and I actually lived there during part of this time. Their best big was Marcin Gortat.
Gortat, yes.
And for what Otto Porter Jr. was able to do, Otto Porter Jr. didn't flash what he's really able to do until Scott Brooks got there, and then when Scott Brooks got there, he was eventually traded in 2 years to Chicago because it wasn't the fact that he could shoot threes; it was because he couldn't guard the positions that they wanted him to guard, and he was being beat out by other people in practice. Like they were a good team, but they weren't a championship team because the best 2 players were both guards, and everybody else was like there. And by the way, nobody wanted to give Otto Porter that max deal. Nobody did. He was just there at the right time.
Chris, did Washington ever have a championship team during that run with John Wall and Bradley Beal?
No, the closest they got was 2016. It was almost a 50-win team, and they weren't gonna win anything.
I didn't say they had a championship team, but they had a comparable team. Don't try to poo-poo the players that they had. For the team they had, they didn't underachieve. You don't think so?
No, I think they actually overachieved.
Wow.
Bradley Beal, Bojan Bogdanovic, Trey Burke, Marcin Gortat, Daniel House, Brandon Jennings, Selden Mack, Jan Mahinmi, Chris McCullough, Markieff Morris, Andrew Nicholson, Daniel Achifu, Kelly Oubre Jr. on a rookie deal, Otto Porter Jr., who they drafted Kelly Oubre Jr. because they didn't like what Otto developed into, Tomas Satoransky, Jason Smith, Marcus Thornton, who actually led them in scoring for a while once Bradley Beal or John Wall got hurt, and then John Wall. That is pure purgatory.
And only 2 of those guys are still in the league, Chris.
Markieff Morris, Trey Burke, Bojan Bogdanovic, Bradley Beal, Kelly Oubre, Otto Porter, Tomas Satoransky, and John Wall are all still in the league.
So how is Bradley Beal not a winner?
That's my point.
And just to let you know, Bradley Beal's been there for X amount of years. He's had a winning record 1, 2, 3, 4 times. He's had a 500 record 1 time. He's been to the playoffs 5 times.
He gets a bad rap. He's always been a good teammate on his team. He has a great motor. He's just unfortunately he plays with people who are better teams who are in the East. That's all it is. I mean, but he would make a great addition to Denver at the end of the day. I think that's what they're missing. Because Michael Porter Jr., I hate to say this, he's not a bust, but he ain't worth the money that they're paying him. And he's having the same problems he had when he was in college. So that would be a ton of an upgrade for Denver.
All right, we've got CJ, JF, and Gifted for Bradley Beal in Denver. Next up, we've got the obligatory Bradley Beal and Lakers. That's not it's obligatory, but that's not really the one I want to talk about. If you're down below and you want to come on up, we appreciate it. Raise the hands, like the people up on stage, and that's the only cost it is to get up here. Because what we're trying to do here is continue to build in the offseason a community where we can come in and have a talk without yelling at each other. So, the times that I mute, it's really just because y'all are yelling. I ain't gonna lie. CJ, JF, and then we'll get Mr. Gifted and the Big Blades. Good morning, everybody.
So this is my whole thing. I agree with what you were saying earlier, Chris. I think Bradley Beal added with Jamal Murray, and Jokic makes Denver extremely dangerous. And then to the point I made earlier about their defense, let me also correct that because Bradley Beal, quiet as it's kept, does play both sides of the ball. Like to Nat's point earlier, John Wall and Bradley Beal were one of the few backcourts in the league at the time who actually were not elite on the defensive end, but they were very at least capable on the defensive end, and then they were very good offensively. So like I feel like if you put Brad Beal with Jamal Murray, it supplants the issues you have with what Dany D brought up earlier with MPJ, with his health and sometimes how he disappears offensively. And then you take a bigger scoring load off of Jokic, and you actually make Jokic utilize his best ability, which is his playmaking. Like to me, I think you take a load off of Jamal Murray and Jokic by adding Bradley Beal, and once again, like I said earlier, you make them a title contender because who in the world wants to deal with a team like Denver who has 3 guys at any given moment who can get you a bucket? And a lot of teams in the West specifically can't say that. They don't have 3 guys that you can say, "Here, give me a bucket." Like that would make Denver incredibly dangerous. And the only other place I could see that would be reasonable for Bradley Beal would be Boston, just because of his relationship with Jason Tatum, with them both being from St. Louis. But I think Bradley Beal in Denver is, as a Golden State Warrior fan, something I would not want to see.
All right. Also up here will be a dark horse Bradley Beal destination. That dark horse team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, ladies and gentlemen. JF, you're up next, and Mr. Gifted and the Big Blades, and we'll go down to Killer Miller, and we'll keep the basketball convo going. Appreciate it, everybody. Good morning.
Yeah, Chris. So, the same thing that we were just talking about, like if you get rid of all those players for Bradley Beal, you're getting rid of your depth. And yes, depth does matter because I don't want to throw no shots, and it's not disrespectful or anything, but I agree with Nat when she came here after they lost to Golden State, saying that she can't stand Peyton Pritchard. You get what I'm saying? You got to be able to have somebody in there, and it's not just they'll sign a veteran to a minimum, because veterans are going to want to play somewhere. You get what I'm saying? Especially like if they can get some years and some money. But when you look at it, you're giving up way too much to think about like trying to restructure something for Denver. Denver is good. You get what I'm saying? Denver is good. I'm not sure what they're missing. Big difference. I mean, I still don't see them making it to Western Conference finals, especially with all these other teams that are coming to rise, like Dallas and stuff like that. I think what you can see or whatnot. All right, I'll see you when I'm in the car.
All right.
I'm leaving the grocery store.
You see, then shouldn't you worry about moving your groceries first? We'll get back to you. Who's next?
I can multitask, Chris. I can multitask.
don't know, man. Like, it don't sound like it. Like,
Hey,
I'm
my
just
phone
trying to
can't.
help you out.
My phone can't multitask, but I can. That's the only problem.
Uh,
I'm set up. I
uh,
got my headset in. I'm ready for this space. Come on now.
Hey, man, did do the hokey pokey, dog. Turn yourself around. That's what having a good signal is all about, bro.
I hope you're not on an Android, man.
Nah, iPhone 11. Turn out, Chris. Stop
Hey,
playing with me,
there
bro.
you go.
I don't sound
There
that
you
loud.
go. All right. Somebody complained that I didn't put a Bradley Beal and the Atlanta Hawks poll out there. So the Bradley Beal and Atlanta Hawks polls out there. Here's your answer. No. What's up, Gifted?
Hell no.
Hey, what's good, people? Hope everybody's in good spirits. Shout out to the Who Spaces community. I'm on vacation right now, but the topic of Bradley Beal is very interesting. So I'm hearing a lot of like praise for Bradley Beal in Denver, and I can understand like the offensive versatility that he would bring their team, but I just don't think that is a need for them. I think that their offense is already potent. I think they really need wing defenders or fours that can play defense alongside them, because if you have a backcourt of Jamal Murray, Bradley Beal, and then you have Jokic as the five, the elite teams are going to hunt them consistently defensively. And then you're asking a lot of Bradley Beal, Jamal, and Jokic to basically provide super high level offensive scoring, which they can do. But the thing that's underrated about Michael Porter Jr. is when he's healthy, the way that he plays in tandem off of Jokic and Jamal's gravity, he's a terrific shooter, knockdown. I think Bradley Beal, throughout these past 3 years, has more so been productive with the ball in his hands. And I think he can fit with Jokic, yes. I just don't think they need to be hunting more offense. I think they have a system in place where Jamal Murray plays supremely well off of Jokic. Gordon works phenomenally well as a fourth option. He's going to get so many easy looks with his rim pressure. He's not going to have to shoot all these hash threes since everyone's going to be back. And if you just get another plug and play wing who can play defense, shoot the corner three, and score inside the paint, they're going to be scary. Like, I promise you, if they get Bradley Beal, as a Golden State fan, I'm licking my chops, because they're going to be good offensively, yes, but if they run up into a team that can play good perimeter defense, when you have multiple weak links defensively, it's going to be very hard to be productive. So I'm not really high on Bradley Beal going there as other people would be.
All right. Appreciate it. How about the Lakers, the T-Wolves, and because some guy wanted it, the Hawks, which, by the way, the answer is no.
Yeah, no, Hawks is absolutely cooked. Please do not entertain that. Trae Young and Bradley Beal backcourt, like, this is not 2K. That's terrible to me. T-Wolves is interesting. I don't know who would go out in that type of position. I like Bradley Beal being there because of his off-ball movement with Ant. I think you can see Ant focus on being more of a downhill player with multiple spacers around him. I think that's pretty strong. In the last place, listen, man, this Lakers stuff is like every day. It's like new players. Like, I promise you, 2 days ago, they told me Zach LaVine. Now it's Bradley Beal. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do. Obviously, if they somehow get Bradley Beal, that probably makes them better. But I think for the Lakers, having Darvin Ham, he's gonna add a defensive identity to that team. And the fact that he has his own coaching staff, I think they're going to mainly focus on trying to get pieces that fit. They just need wings who can play defense and play their role offensively compared to trying to get another third star. Because every time they do this star stuff, the roster lacks because of it. So that's what I'll say.
Yeah, I just put it up there because it's obligatory, and then when you dive into what the actual available free agents are, it is a bad free agency year, and so like I think subconsciously like they start panicking a little bit, and that's what leads to the idea of picking up this third star, because again, like I mean, DJ Augustine is arguably a top 5 point guard in free agency.
That's
Someone
disgusting.
try to tell me I'm lying. I'll
I'm not
wait.
even gonna respond to that, man. That shit cooked. I'm sorry.
Hey, Chris, what's worse, the point guard or power forward on free agency?
Center.
Ew.
Center is dead. Like Luka Garza, if he was a free agent, top 5 center.
Okay, Chris, come on, man.
Come on, it's bad this year. Just Google 2022 NBA free agent list and cry. Like, understand, we are going to be on this app reacting to Lakers fans signing some dude that's supposed to be great, and we're going to be scratching our heads like, bro, like just prepare yourself. That's what I'm trying to do
I'm
here.
just over like the big name things that these teams try to do. Like, I don't think that the super team era is officially dead because obviously players can still move and team up. But I think where the championships are now are going to be based on teams that have roster flexibility, a strong defense, and a commitment to versatility at multiple different positions. And to me, Michael Porter Jr. still has to put his game together for Denver, yes, but his shooting prowess in that system with Jamal Murray, like, it could be very, very potent. And then defensively, they still have to prove that they can play stronger together. I'm just more in on like the team aspect for all these teams more than just this third star player, because there's so many teams that are loaded from top to bottom. That third star player might not really get you that far no more.
All right, well, tell us what you got coming up for the next NBA film spaces on the locker room.
Yeah, so currently right now I'm on vacation. I'm actually going to Vegas today. After this week is over, I will be having more film spaces on some of the draft process coming in, but also I want to have rooms about players. I think Tatum is getting a lot of hate now, and I think it's kind of corny just because people put him on this pedestal that he shouldn't have been on in the first place, but he's still a really good player. Um, I also really want to dive into the details of players' games, so I'll probably have a space where I compare Jason Tatum and Devin Booker from a playmaking perspective to really analyze like what makes a player a good playmaker, and like to really analyze like value both on and off the ball. So those spaces will be coming next week on top of some draft talk as well.
For those who are down below, I got a DM. You can always put it in the group chat that's on the bottom right. The reason why I don't put Bradley Beal in Dallas is because they made the trade for Christian Wood. They are still likely to re-sign Jalen Brunson. That is their main target. He is already there. He already knows the system. They don't need to worry about integration. And they're actually looking at Tim Hardaway Jr. coming back. And my guess is between Tim Hardaway Jr., Reggie Bullock, and probably one more player like Davis Bertans. That's going to be a combo to get two of them out to get another player, and that's not enough to get the likes of someone like Bradley Beal. Appreciate it, Gifted. We're going to come back to you in a second. CJ, come back here. RTB, Origami. But up next, we're going to go to Jaylen. This is Jaylen Greenroom. Appreciate the follow. Welcome here on Hoop Spaces. Your thought on Bradley Beal to the Nuggets, to the Lakers, or now apparently to the Mavs, even though it's not going to happen. And appreciate you coming through. What you got?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Bradley Beal, I'm a big fan of his. I think he would fit well because he's a great cutter off ball, and he to give this point, he has done a lot of his work recently on the ball. But when he was with John Wall and that short stint with Russell Westbrook, he has great off ball movement. But I don't think again that's what Denver needs. I think Denver is fine. I think they just need to get healthy, and once they have their healthy dudes, they'll be able to compete. They'll be a Western Conference Finals team, in my opinion. Those other teams like Atlanta, that backcourt would be absolutely hideous. It wouldn't work. You need like good defenders with Trae Young since he's such a negative on defense. Like the best fit, everyone said it, but the best fit for Bradley Beal, in my opinion, is Miami. They need that shot creator. They need a secondary playmaker, and Bradley Beal fulfills all those things. So that's where I'm at with that.
It's a great thing. Like it. Here are the free agent point guards that are unrestricted. Ricky Rubio coming off an injury, DeLon Wright, Tyus Jones, Dennis Schroeder, Avery Bradley, Ryan Arcidiacono, Rajon Rondo, Austin Rivers, Elfrid Payton, Raul Neto, Gary Payton II, Jalen Brunson, Goran Dragic, DJ Augustine, Javon Carter, Isaiah Thomas, Brandon Goodwin, Chris Chioza. Jalen Brunson likely to sign with Dallas. Gary Payton II likely to re-sign with Golden State. Actually, he already signed a 2-year. I think that they'll are getting ready to sign a 2-year. So Tyus Jones 1, DeLon Wright 2, DJ Augustine 3 is how I would rate the unrestricted free agent point guard class. Scary out there on these streets, man. Killer Miller, go ahead. Then Origami, then CJ. We'll get a good reset. We got about 20 minutes left or so. As Gifted is just rubbing it in because I have yet to take a vacation. And if he's taking a vacation, then I know my ass needs to take one soon too. Killer Miller, go ahead.
All right. So Beal to Atlanta, hell no. Beal to the Lakers, hell no. Beal to Dallas, hell no. Beal to Denver. Like I said, if the comp is Sacramento, remember how Sacramento could never get a stop in order to get to where they needed to go, which was the championship. They could score out this world, but if they ever had a down period of time where they couldn't, it was curtains for their ass. And that's kind of what history tells us. You can score all day long, but there's always that problem. What happens when you mess up once and the other team just kind of gets by you and you can't really stop them? You know what I'm saying? Then there's another thing. MPJ. Last time I checked, I don't think there's a hospital like right across the street, you know what I'm saying, from the Nugget Arena, because that kind of needs to be for him. You know what I'm saying? He constantly gets hurt. And I just feel like it was crazy for them to give him that deal that he got. And, I mean, he's kind of limited. He's a spot-up shooter. He's not a guy that can put it on the floor, create his own offense for himself. He needs other people to know in order to do it for him. To me, that's a limited player. Then he doesn't really play defense that well. So that right there is a like a real big problem. Like I say, Bill would help, but at the end of the day, he's not going to be able to save him. They got bigger fish to fry. I wouldn't worry about Bill. I worry about MPJ and what his future would look like going forward, because he's very injury prone, and that is a real big projected thing with him. And I know they kind of stuck with him because they gave him that money, but yeah, I think that's kind of a dead issue right there with him.
That's unfortunately the whole family too. Like they just have bad luck with leg injuries.
Yeah, like I really like I don't dislike the kid, you know what I'm saying, but it's just the injuries, bro. And I mean, you hate to see it hit him like that, but I mean, I guess on the better point, he did get his bread, so he just had the bad rep of being an injury-prone player, and that's kind of what it's gonna come down to. Now, if they just keep Bill out and utilize their bench, you know what I'm saying, the same guys that were starters sliding back to the bench and they can help out, they actually might, you know what I'm saying, make some noise. Once again, you still have Joker, you still have your point, you know what I'm saying, but if you bring Bill in, you're gonna lose a lot of that bench. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when MPJ, his need is going to be he's going to be really needed to just be healthy and stay, you know what I'm saying, in place so they don't lose anything on offense. You know what I'm saying? But once again, you don't get your shit on defense. And I think ultimately that's what it's always going to come down to with them. Can they actually stop somebody? And if it come down to them stop and say, let me think here, Golden State. Could they? Probably not. Like I say, they probably could score with them, but then at a certain point, when it comes down to actually stopping them, you know what I'm saying, if you miss one opportunity, you're pretty much done. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about that defense that I don't like, you know what I'm saying? But it just kind of is what it is.
All right.
And like I said, I don't know where Bill going to go. You send him to Miami. There is a matter of a little pudgy-ass, donut-shaped ass point guard that Miami has that they can't really get rid of, and don't know what his future going to be. If he loses weight, maybe. But he ain't the same guy since he gained, you know what I'm saying, about 30 pounds.
Don't worry. Anybody can be traded. Like people saying people can't be traded, like see Russell Westbrook. Right?
Understood. But at the same time, you don't typically, you're not hearing anything about him, you know what I'm saying, being traded and
Well,
playing
no,
and still
the,
playing in that culture
because
with
the only time
health is the issue.
you hear about a player being traded is when a team wants to trade for a player. There's a difference when a team wants to trade for a player versus a team that will trade a player. Like if the Miami Heat want to trade for Bradley Beal, they have to consider and probably acquiesce to including that contract. And you have to remember that the contract between the player and the team is really just part of a larger whole of what is agreed upon in the collective bargaining agreement. So, like, they'll be able to move the contract as long as it stays within the greater pool of money.
What
Um,
if the team don't want him and
then
they want other players?
that's when you add in the compensation, whether it's future draft picks, younger players, or you that's how Oklahoma City actually built up their cachet of draft picks. You get the third player, say, let us park him here. You give this other team two more pieces, and then we'll give you, this for your cost, right? Like it's very transactional. Right now, Oklahoma City's pretty high up on having draft picks. So the
Pretty
question
much.
is, what team takes that slack? Who's going to come out and say, you know what, we are going to be no better than 30 and 52. Let's go ahead and build up our future asset list. And Gifted, I think, might have a couple of teams. I have a couple of teams. The number one team that I actually have that'll probably do that next, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into at about 9 minutes. Here's your power forward list for unrestricted free agency. Thaddeus Young, Torian Prince, Montrezl Harrell, PJ Tucker, Chris Boucher, Jalen Smith, Kevon Looney, Marcus Aldridge, Paul Millsap, Blake Griffin, Udonis Haslam, Carmelo Anthony, Markieff Morris, Demaja Bjelica, Wayne Gabriel, and Gary Clark. All unrestricted. This is your unrestricted free agent list. Yikes.
Hey man, that Thad Young veteran move.
Bro,
It could help certain teams. I can't front. He plays defense, bro.
15 years in, 34 years old.
I know he plays defense, but like I said, selected teams, of course.
Let's go Origami, then CJ, then JF, and we'll get ready to give parting shots. And we'll bring back up what we started the conversation with this morning with some WNBA talk real quick. Origami, go ahead.
I just want to comment on kind of like the defense versus offense thing. I mean, I'm kind of going along with CJ talked about this earlier, and I think Nat did as well. I'm going to take the offense because I think that's more difficult to game plan or prepare for. Like if you're like a coach, I mean, because if you have some lower tier defenders and whatnot, you can scheme around that. You can play the percentages and things of that nature, the probability, try and hide people. But if your people cannot score, then they just cannot score. I mean, and that's very, very difficult to win. It's very, very difficult to win games in the NBA if you cannot score. And if you're like very one-dimensional in your offensive system. And also, I was going to say, I heard you say Isaiah Thomas. No IT love for the free agency?
Say that one more time.
I was saying no Isaiah Thomas love, like for the free agency, like he might be a top 3. He might still help somebody out.
He can. I know he can. He's not top 3. He's not. I'm sorry. I love IT. He's just at this point he comes in to calm down a team and be able to provide spacing and shots. He's no longer really running an offense. It's just is what it is, unfortunately. CJ, what you got?
So I've said my piece on the Bradley Beal thing, but I want to throw a crazy idea that I threw out yesterday that I'm curious to hear, Chris, your thoughts and whoever wants to comment on it. But in light of Phoenix being very just transparent about willing to let Aiden go in a sign and trade deal, and Chris Paul kind of deteriorating in front of our eyes at this point because he's 37 and he didn't end that playoff series well. What is it crazy of an idea to do a D'Angelo and Karl-Anthony Towns to Phoenix for Chris Paul and Aiden? Like,
yes.
That's a crazy thought. And I only say that because Devin Booker has wanted to play with Cat and D'Angelo because they're all good friends. And then like because Minnesota's essentially Anthony Edwards' team at this point, I'm like throw Chris Paul and Aiden next to him and kind of work that out. Like
But
that.
why? But what are you giving Minnesota a value?
I mean, Aiden is not a value for Minnesota.
You're giving up Cat, who's the higher value.
I mean, technically Cat to this point, but I feel like that's only because Phoenix has underutilized Aiden and ignored him, like as far as offensively.
So if you want to say it's a push, then what are you going to give to the value of giving out D'Angelo Russell making less, being younger, and then receiving Chris Paul being old and making more?
Yeah, you got me there, Chris. I'm kind of stumped there. I will admit that.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's not like insane, but it's crazy.
Yeah, it's up there.
JF man, what you got?
Yeah, Chris. I'm just gonna finish off by saying I'm still trying to figure out who the Heat are gonna pick up in the 27th pick because usually if the Heat were to make a move and trade that, I think they would have done that by now. But I heard the boys yesterday. But what's your take on the Heat in the 27th pick?
My guess is that they actually go point guard. If Ty Washington completely falls off the list here in the mid first round, he could be available. That's kind of what we were talking about the other day. Another player that I would love to see if he slips is Tari Eason from LSU. I think he fits in very well as a 3-and-D wing. Marjan Beauchamp, but really, if they're gonna keep it and they really want to just take a shot at somebody, I would probably go Kendall Brown from Baylor.
No, it doesn't sound half too bad. But going on with this Bradley Beal thing, I think Killer Miller said it. Yeah, we do have Kyle Lowry. That's kind of a liability right now, but it's a win-win situation. Either he can get his body fat down underneath 18%, or we can trade him. But either way, we're winning, and we're going to see an upgrade in the point guard position because we're not going to see this year's Kyle Lowry. But if we do get Bradley Beal, man, that would be a crazy thing if we see him move to Miami on draft night. That's all I'm saying because that's the only way I see them getting him if we can give up Duncan and a pick for him.
Yeah, it would definitely take more than Duncan in a pick.
I know. I just don't know who else, but I know Duncan in the pick for sure is going.
Yeah, I like this is the problem with Heat fans. Y'all have only one player that could be traded that people want, and his name is Tyler. Like that the greatness of Miami is also their weakness, and I think Gifted will agree with me. They do, other than maybe Golden State, the best internal development in the league in terms of consistency.
Oh no, without a doubt. I think the top three teams in development year in, year out would be the Warriors, Miami, and the Raptors. Like they do a great job of strongly developing their young talent. The only thing is with Miami, their downfall sometimes is the lack of talent sometimes in the playoffs to stop from offensive stagnation. And the fact that Bam so far hasn't popped offensively like they thought that he would.
And being so good at that internal development, it lowers the ceiling on trade assets because you're consistently good, so you don't get consistently high draft picks. And then the players that you do pick actually tend to fit more of a rigid system, so you end up taking specialists. And I think part of the problem that Miami is going to start facing and starting this coming season is the fact that specialists are dying in the NBA. It's like every month another specialist loses their career. And I think what we saw in Duncan Robinson wasn't regression because a specialist can perform his speciality. What it was NBA teams saying, F this. We're not letting this cat shoot 12 3-pointers and go 5 for 12.
But do you think that's because of lack of our offensive power, like not having the proper point guards or the proper players on there to create that spacing so Duncan can be open? Because, I mean, even
No,
if you saw Duncan failing, you saw Strus being able to create those shots. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Not with Duncan. Duncan's a stick.
I hear you.
He's literally the guard version of Davis Bertans. He's a stick. Every time that they try to do that dribble handoff 30 feet away, like we understood that was going to be a wasted possession. Like y'all, like he either turned the ball over, passed out, or missed a shot. Like more times than he even took a shot. Although I will say this, a sneaky pickup for Miami if he's healthy would be Gordon Hayward. And I want to propose this to the Miami Heat, who, if you miss out on the Beal sweepstakes, you might be able to get Gordon Hayward and a first-round draft pick to carry on 2 years of salary. And I honestly think that if you put a Gordon Hayward up there, that improves Miami's offense and ball flow. We'll go to Gifted, and then we got a couple new people up here on stage. We'll get to them. Gifted, your thoughts on Gordon Hayward?
So I got to be honest. Gordon Hayward to me is a really good player. I think that it's unfortunate his health, because whenever he played for Charlotte, he made them actively a better team. But at this point, his health is really the biggest black mark on his career. And for trade value, that really makes it murky. I think there are some teams that can use him because he's still a wing who can play make and play strong defensively. I actually would like to see him in Denver operating as a secondary playmaker and wing defender. But again, his health is the biggest question with him.
Chris, he didn't want to come to Miami. He already stated that last time we tried to get him.
I know. I'm just saying, like, as a player, that's a perfect fit.
He would be good for Miami, though.
I've got somebody down below. She has a question. She put it up here. I'm gonna try to get up here about the Minnesota Timberwolves, and she wants to know what we think they need to do to make a sustained playoff run. Man, I just lost it. It's because I went too fast. So we'll answer that question after we go to Buffalo and Big Fan. Buffalo and Big Fan. Big Fan, you're up first because you waited the longest. Appreciate your patience. What you got?
I'll be honest, I just got on the train. I'm in New York. I'm gonna have to come back. But thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you're good. It just takes a minute sometimes. My apologies. But come back when you're free. I'll make sure you get in.
Nah, enjoy the content, man. I like listening. I'll be back.
All right, appreciate it. We'll move up to Buffalo. It's good to see you again, Buffalo. What's up?
Yo, what's up, Chris, man? What's up, everybody? One, I was going to talk about, Bradley Beal, but since, of course, you brought up the Hornets, I love to talk about the Hornets. I just don't think so. Once what's his name, Brian Windhorst put out that report about how Charlotte was auctioning off some combination of Gordon Hayward and the 15th pick to teams. I think people misconstrued that as they'll do that to get anybody back. I think that trade is only there if it's for a guy like Miles Turner, or a place where Gordon Hayward wants to go. He's from Indiana. I think him and his family, he's a real big family guy. His wife kind of during the season even had some problems with the way Charlotte was doing things. So I think he wants to go back to Indiana and be back home in Indiana. So I think that's where that Hayward and 15
Pacers don't want him.
You said what?
The Pacers don't want him. Like they don't. The Pacers are in position of pushing a younger timeline.
So I understand why you say that, but I would think they might be interested because they're going to be so bad in the coming years that you could sell some tickets off of the hometown heroes coming back to Indiana and it's not like Gordon Hayward is, you feel me, giving them 10 plus wins or 15 plus wins. They'll be around the same, he might give them 2 or 3 more wins, but I think they can sell their fan base on Gordon Hayward coming back to kind of like have some kind of swan song or kind of lead these young guys kind of thing. I just think that's very, very possible because I really think they want to get into that back end of the lottery. Like they really want to get there, and I don't see anybody else giving them that pick for something they want except for Washington.
Yeah, I live in the Indianapolis metro area. I hear the sports talk. The only thing that kept them from completely tearing down was the fact that an unnamed team refused to add another first-round draft pick at the trade deadline to trade for Miles Turner. So if you're wanting to see Indianapolis go that route, they would be more apt to trade Miles Turner, and then they would talk about what they would be able to get, and they could get more than Gordon Hayward in the 15th for Miles Turner.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, another thing I did hear was I heard JFK say talk about how they can get rid of Kyle Lowry for anything. I highly disagree about that. Like it's
I
$30
didn't say
million.
anything.
Well, you say you could get rid of him pretty easily or something like that, right? Or
No, he didn't say that.
oh, my fault. I misheard that. Then my fault.
No, I said that. Like again, for everybody who thinks that a player is untradeable, like Chris Paul was traded multiple times, Russell Westbrook was traded multiple times. A contract is nothing but numbers. You put numbers on a paper and it gets to 15. Like they made it so you don't even have to match.
Yeah.
It's up to 15% unless you're hard capped. So like there's 19 teams that could take Kyle Lowry on. And as long as the compensation is met, they would probably take them on because those 19 teams know that they don't really have a legit shot in competing. Like that's just macroeconomics in the league.
For sure. And I just had one quick question for everybody. How y'all feel about Bradley Beal on the Mavericks? I think I think Nico Harrison and that Dallas front office are a bunch of lunatics. I think they really want to go out and, make big splashes. And we see with the Christian Wood trade, the Kristaps Porzingis trade, that they're willing to do things that haven't been talked about. They won't be in the sweepstakes for anybody, and all of a sudden at the last hour they get somebody. So I really think if they offered like Jalen Brunson, like Tim Hardaway, I know that doesn't sound like a lot. Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway Jr., and like some firsts, if they wanted to do that, because I think Bradley Beal next to Luka Doncic is probably the best backcourt in the NBA, to be quite honest with you.
Trading the first in the Wood contract kind of messes that type of trade up. Secondly, picking up Christian Wood, they picked him up for that salary on purpose so that they could fit a max player in. But the idea of fitting a max player in wouldn't be bringing in Bradley Beal. It would be keeping Jalen Brunson at a more cost affordable price at like 25 to 27, and then figuring out of THJ and Reggie Bullock whom they're going to keep, and then turning around whomever they're going to get rid of in this instance, teaming them up with Davis Bertans or Dwight Powell, and then that'll clear up to 36 to 45 million. That's more of the route Nico might go, in my mind, to free up more cap while keeping Brunson and Luka while adding Wood. What do you got, Gifted? And then we'll go to young Harriet.
I got to be honest, like I don't know where I fall on the Maverick situation, because I think the play that they're making is to try to keep Jalen Brunson, which I can respect that. But at the same time, part of me does feel like Bradley Beal is a much better fit simply because of his off-ball ability. He doesn't have the bruiser-like tendencies that Brunson can do as far as post actions, but I just think Bradley Beal can work off of Luka a lot better because of his shooting proficiency. A lot of times in the playoffs, teams will like dare Brunson to shoot more times than not. I think with Bradley Beal, you kind of lose that. And I do feel like he's an underrated playmaker, and having him be the secondary playmaker / ball handler with Luka, to me, does have good value. But again, it all comes down to price point, which if Bradley Beal's like this super max or like high, 30s type of player, do they do that? Probably not.
Yeah, Gifted. I agree 100%, man. I think there were so many times, not only in the playoff, but just when Jason Kidd made a decision to fully time start Jalen Brunson, where Jalen Brunson isn't very comfortable in catch and shoot situations. So, and that's really all the off ball you really need. Like you'll pass him the ball, and he'll make if he shoots 10 of those wide open, I say he'll make about 5, but then that's not terrible. But in the NBA, if you're getting that many opportunities for catch and shoot, you want that to be knocked down butter. And
he's not comfortable at like running off of like I've seen Bradley Beal be used to running off of screens, and that could open up a whole other avenue of their offense compared to Luka or Brunson dominate the ball and try to score.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to young Harriet, I wanted everybody to take a look up here, the last tweet up here. Life with Y. She's asking a question. What does Minnesota need to do to make a deep playoff run? Chris Finch took over, and he went 46-36 with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they are probably the hardest team to gauge. I actually think they're set up for a regression in their record, and in order to maintain what they have or to get a deep playoff run for me, really depends upon the development of Jaden McDaniels and whom they're going to be able to get to offset the loss of Torian Prince, Naz Reid, Malik Beasley, because one of them's a free agent and two of them don't need to be there. I like Naz Reid, but like Naz Reid isn't going to get enough run. I don't know why they haven't tried to move him to another team to get a better fit. I'm really enamored with Jaden McDaniels and what his multi-defensive ability might be able to be. But Malik Beasley is a gunner. He can't play defense. He doesn't like sharing the ball. Jordan McLaughlin, I love the story. I don't think he's a top backup point guard just yet. And that right there is your problem, because then that makes you rely on Patrick Beverley to have to play 28 minutes. D'Angelo Russell have to be locked in to support Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, and I just don't see it.
Hey, Chris, do you think it's going to be a problem next season where I think Anthony Edwards is going to come into the league or come into the season next year thinking like, man, shit, I'm that dude. I'm the number one, and I think I could be not only an all-star, but I think I could be one of the top 10 plus players in the NBA next year, and how that's going to mesh with, D-Lo and Cat. I think that dynamic might get a little trickier than it has been in the past next year.
You should ask Gifted that question, because I already said it was Anthony Edwards' team.
I think it is, but I just think that the others might not agree. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I still don't believe that yet, and the way that I look at Anthony Edwards, he absolutely has the potential to be the go-to scoring option for that team. I still think that the stride that you saw Cat take for the entirety of last season, they still run the majority of their offense through him. I think Anthony Edwards can be an emerging star, but to me, that difference of him being number one as far as their offensive option compared to two is going to come down to his willingness to play downhill more than his shot selection from three. I think he can be a really terrific rim pressure player, and also like if he can tune in his fundamentals defensively, because he has the size, he has the length to really be a disruptor defensively. I think he can do similar things, and I'm not saying he'll be this player, but I think he can do similar things to what you saw Wade in his career doing. I can see that from Anthony Edwards. I just think that Karl Anthony Towns is still their offensive engine. If you watch the Grizzlies Timberwolves series in the games where he wasn't in foul trouble, he was able to generate high quality looks, and Anthony Edwards was right there with him scoring. So to me, it's getting that ultimate development as a player this offseason for Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards led them in scoring. He scored 25. He also took 5 more shots per game in the postseason than Karl Anthony Towns. And I actually think that should reverse. I think in a game like this, in the postseason, this is where they should have featured Cat, especially against Minnesota, as opposed to Anthony Edwards. We're going to go to young Harriet, a very dope basketball mind. I urge everybody to follow young Harriet if you need some Memphis in your life, because that's what she is. Born and bred, and there for it. The Grizzlies are a team that a lot of people are starting to dislike. Why? I don't know. I find them entertaining. I enjoy every day I open up my Twitter and I see Ja Morant tweet. I think that makes my day brighter. Young Harriet, what do you think about anything you heard today? And what do you see the Grizzlies going into the offseason? We'll close with you.
Well, good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Wherever you are, hating is an illness, and so many in spaces are afflicted by it because of the Grizzlies for whatever reason. But that's neither here nor there. I'm here to talk about Gordon Hayward and the possibility of him ending up with the Grizzlies. From what the reports have said, the Grizzlies are looking to trade up in the draft, and from all accounts and in past draft activities, the Grizzlies have been known to take on salary to go up further in the draft, and I think Gordon Hayward is a perfect candidate to do so for the Grizzlies. They're also in talks for their 14th pick, with the Cleveland Cavaliers as well. Uh, my argument for Gordon Hayward on the Grizzlies is I believe that he would do wonders for our second unit. He would offer some scoring stability to the bench as well, as some secondary creation that we often needed during this playoff run. I think him being there for 2 years and the Grizzlies being able to offload him if they choose to would it wouldn't hurt us very much. It would give us back some of that financial flexibility that we would undoubtedly lose with him on the team. But I think what he could offer us offensively and with that veteran leadership off of the bench to go along with uh, year two Zaire and a couple of other, possible free agent signings. I know that this free agent market is not the sexiest, but for a contending team, a possible contending team, because I wouldn't dare call the Grizzlies a contending team, because there are some Memphis Grizzlies haters in this space, most definitely. I think they just hate the city of Memphis, really, Chris, if I'm being honest. Uh, but yeah, so I think Gordon Hayward would be a great addition, especially if it would get us up to the number 13th spot, because Zach Kleiman is chasing somebody in this draft. We just don't know who. And we know we need another 3-and-D wing. So I would look out for a move like that for the Grizzlies.
All right. It's 102, ladies and gentlemen, and unfortunately for us, our time is over. I want to thank everybody for popping in. I'm going to give Gifted here a parting shot so he can tell you once again that he's going on vacation so he can rub it in. I also urge everybody to shoot everybody who gave you value here a follow. I want to give the following names out here for people you might want to follow for some good basketball content. Saint from Nets Kingdom is in the building. You can catch Nets Kingdom on YouTube, and also hosting Nets Twitter Spaces for here on Hoop Spaces with Brandon, Jay from BK, Nets Kingdom, AJ, and a whole rash of others. Optimistic Pels fan is in the building. You should follow him to talk Pelicans basketball. But we will be debuting, ladies and gentlemen, something special coming this Thursday, soon for you. Open mic nights. If you like music and you like musical performances across all genres, make sure you shoot myself and Optimistic Pels fan a follow, because we will be debuting open mic spaces. So you want to shoot them a follow as well when you see the sign. I will be working when I have some time to get some stand-up comedians together to help, add to open mic night. So you got that coming in here. If you're a Mavericks fan or you want to stay abreast of some Western Conference, you have Papi Chulo, Speak On It Rolo, and Jazz, aka Scammer Sultan, the hosts of 77 Spaces. And as always, make sure you travel over to slamgoods.com and help support the pickup card game. Pick up a copy at $25 to help support a Black-owned independent enterprise that helps support this community as we support it. Gifted, tell the people how much fun you're going to have in Vegas, man. See, he's having so much fun he can't even. All right. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate everybody who's new as well finding us here. You could spend any amount of time anywhere else, but you're here. We appreciate it. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. However, I do not believe I will have a show tomorrow morning at the regular time. It might be a little bit later. Got a couple things we have to get a hold of in terms of business. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow, maybe 10:30 a.m. All right, if you enjoyed what you heard, please shoot us a follow here on Twitter. You can also shoot us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and other places. I say this because Hoop Spaces Ryan tells me to. In fact, he yells at me when I don't. Also, go over to YouTube now and type in Hoop Spaces. You'll see a whole bunch of videos by one Mr. Gifted Blade and some other content creators using the hashtag Hoop Spaces. We'll be working with audiolabs.io to get that onto the Hoop Spaces actual channel. Yeah, good basketball. NBA draft talk tomorrow. If you missed out yesterday, go to YouTube now and listen to Matthew Maurer of thedraftreview.com and Evan Townsend do a deep dive here on Hoop Spaces about the NBA draft. Peace out, everybody. Have a good one.